Welcome into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you on this Tuesday afternoon. Grayson in the producer's chair today as he continues to train with us. Darian Newsom with us as well. We're Sports Time. We're with you for the next 3 hours and a lot to get into, a lot going on. We had 2 Monday Night Football games last night. It's opening day in the NBA. A ton to get to. College football news out there. A lot over these next 3 hours. But Brett, how are you today?
I'm doing well. Big G and Big D running everything for us today, looking good too. And Brian, let's in the sporting world, and it's usually in an off season that they do this. There are a lot of teams that do the hard self scout. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Let's me and you do a little self scout. Let's go back 24 hours. Do you think at all we were over the top about Tyreek Smith?
No, not at all.
A little understated, in fact?
Probably, yeah, if I had to say.
What do you think the sharpest, elbow-toughest comment made was?
By either of us?
By either of us.
Probably saying that this was Jordan Brown again would probably be the harshest. I can't remember everything, but that's probably the closest.
And I said, "Are we?" And I said, "Were we really doing this?" I mean, this isn't Larry Keenan.
Sure.
I said that. He's still not Larry Keenan. And that's not changing. He still averaged 8 points last year. I say all this to bring up a lot of times talk radio, social media gets thrown in one bucket.
Sure.
Of if one said it, everybody said it. If one went that direction, everybody went that direction. I thought we were very low-key yesterday. Yeah. And this is why it blew over. One thing I'm happy that we talked about yesterday is that Memphis is not alone with this type of issue and won't be alone. And it will develop at a lot of places over the entire year. There are places in college football. Now, yesterday there was an very erroneous report that Quinn Ewers was out at Texas and going to start getting ready for the NFL draft. It was erroneous, but it's bubbling down there about that.
Ooh. You don't like to hear that at all.
It's going to bubble at places even for playoff teams in college football.
Wow.
That star player could go and say, hey, if I'm such a star, we're in these playoffs largely because of me. I signed up for X amount of games. I need a little something other than bowl swag bag.
100%. And we've been you've been saying that, Brett, ever since this was even an idea of NIL being a factor. You said, okay, when that happens, it's going to be a lot more than just, hey, here's your thank you for being in our bowl game.
I can't really blame them.
No.
As I've said to friends, it's not 1980 anymore. We never did, and we sure don't now own them. We never did. And those players, I've also always said, you can leave anytime you want to.
Sure.
Well, they may want to before the playoffs start.
That's right. And they can, and so.
And they can. And I know for a fact neither of us in any conversation yesterday about Tyreek Smith said, well, there it goes again. Always something with Penny. Neither one of us went there yesterday. No. And a lot of people I know did, and we didn't because I had a hunch that whether he stayed or goes, or if he stays or goes, whatever tense you want to use, current, past, present, whatever you want to use, it's going to happen at a lot of places, and we've got to be able to handle it. We've got to be able to kind of understand the noise and accept some of these things is not that big a deal.
Sure.
And some things will be a big deal if a particular player bolts.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Or players bolt.
Sure. And so that was the news this morning. I saw Jason Munz first that I saw. I don't know if he was the first person to report it, but he was the first that I saw to report it, that Tyreek Smith was, in fact, back at practice this morning. And honestly, I mean, if you just take Jason Munz reporting, same with Parth, it was always, hey, he asked for a day or two away from practice, away from the team, but we haven't heard anything
Chill.
about that. There's stuff going on behind the scenes, but it's nothing to overreact, freak out about right now. And sure enough, there were conversations yesterday, and now he is back at practice, was back with the team, and so I think a lot of nothing, and I'm sure there was something, but now it seems like it's resolved, and we can move forward and talk basketball.
And I also said yesterday that if the stories of the Memphis NIL that are out there, that if they come up with the money for him, they might have to come up with some money for some others.
Sure, yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, it might not just be one. There's a chance anywhere in the country that
and
you
it's
hear
not
one
just
story.
Memphis.
No, but you hear that one story about one player. I mean, heck, I think a great example of it is UNLV. You had the quarterback Matthew Sluka come out, say, "I'm not getting the money I was promised. I'm out." Not even 24 hours later, running back, comes out and says, "All right, I'm out too. I haven't been getting money." So, I do think, one, obviously it's not just Memphis, and two, when stuff like this happens, it's not going to be far stretched to think that it could happen with another player on the team.
And so many people are waiting for the guardrails. I don't know that the guardrails are going to hold up in any court.
Yeah.
When you start putting up guardrails, then you are not having freedom and liberation.
Sure. Yeah, that's a good point. And but you're right. A lot of people, calling, and I don't know what that looks like, and what people want to see, and how it could be worked out. But right now, there's not the guardrails, and you've got to work with what you have right now, and you can't worry about maybe someday, one day, this happening.
I don't mind this system.
Yeah.
I don't, and I'm unapologetic about not minding it.
Yeah, no, I mean it's new for sure, and I think there's a lot of people that it's still taking them time to fully grasp it and understand it. But yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely a good thing, and these players deserve to be paid, and I don't necessarily mind how it's being done right now.
Tell you something else that we didn't do yesterday that I like. When we hadn't so far today, and we're not going to, we hadn't trashed the maybe not traditional reporting of it. It's not always the CA or the DM or Sports Illustrated or Sporting News or ABC or NBC or CBS or 3, 5, 10, 13, 24, 30. It's not always, even talk radio. Hard to believe. I've been in talk radio long enough that we're now traditional. Because I remember when we were just the pariah of all time. But you didn't hear us yesterday blasting whatever sites were reporting it. Sure. In fact, a lot of those sites have been at the forefront on pertinent breaking news that I applaud. There is a lot of citizen journalism going on out there, but I like to come back to the tried and true and tested of people like Parth, people like John Varlas, people like Jason Munz, people like DeMichael Cole, people like Jonah Dillon, people like that. But that doesn't mean that sometimes that somebody else doesn't beat them to something.
Sure, no, 100%, and you see it a lot. There I think a lot of people out there that have sources and have connections and break news, and so yeah, I mean we talked about it yesterday. It was Hitman Hoops who broke this story, and he has been very, very accurate on a lot of things that he has reported in the past year or two when it comes to Memphis basketball.
He whoever that is batting a good percentage. Do you know him? I don't.
I don't. And from what I know and what I've heard is he likes to keep his identity pretty private. And yeah, I have no idea who he is.
Our buddy, college football nerds.
Exactly.
Like that.
Exactly. And nothing wrong with that.
That's fine. And Brian, I think fundamentally for me, and I sense if you please speak up if I'm speaking out of turn for you, I want you to. I trust the marketplace. If Twitter site, whatever it is, I don't want to disparage anybody, but it's just Twitter site A. I'll just use example A from Twitter site. Sure. If they're rolling with stuff and their hit rate's pretty good, then I feel like people that guy, sure. Twitter site A came along, and I thought some of that stuff was pretty wild, but after he batted about 800, sure. 8 out of 10 stories right. Okay. Now, at the same time, Twitter site B comes along and they bat about 1 out of 100, then I trust the people to go, sure. That's not anything I need to go with. No different than all the voices on sports talk radio. Mm-hmm. I think people know the ones that we can kind of trust and rely on, depend on, and those that they can't.
Sure. No, absolutely. And so, yeah, I mean, if you have a good track record, then, yeah, people are going to listen to you and vice versa. So, yeah, I mean, I don't blame anybody for, reporting news. And when you're good at it, go for it. I don't care who you are. If you've got the sources and you can do it and you're accurate, then, yeah, I'm going to listen to you.
And when you're good at it, tell it. Like in college football this year, on our Friday football forecast picks, Bryant Dacus, 34-14 in college football.
How about that? A little CFB. Yeah, bread and butter right there.
Not so good in NFL.
Well, yeah, NFL a lot tougher to handicap. I mean, these are all pros out there, Brett. They're there for a reason. 1%.
Then there's Darian Newsom, college football, 30-18.
How about that?
NFL, 30-21, 60-39 for the year. That percentage is pretty easy to figure.
Pretty good percentage, yeah. That's a guy I'd listen to.
Anything wagering, handicapping, betting, if it has a 6 in front of it, you go off to a mean clip.
Oh, yeah.
Any handicapper, any odds tout that talks anything above 62 or 63%, run.
Oh, yeah.
Run.
Yeah.
No, turn it off.
Yes, no, 100%. But, yeah, Darren, good picking. I'm
for the year.
To you.
Darren, last night I went with you both ways, so I went 1-1.
Yeah.
Darren, 60-39 for the year. Bryant, you're 54-45 for the year. That's pretty mean clip.
Yeah.
Connor's 51-48 for the year. I'm in last at 48-51. There have been years that around 500, like I am, would be leading.
Oh, yeah.
Y'all are lapping me.
Oh man,
some mean picking from all y'all.
How about that? Good picking. But I was kicking myself last night when I'm sitting there watching the Cardinals and the Cardinals-Chargers game, and I'm sitting there thinking, all right, I was the last pick. I was our group lock, and then
you were the last line of defense.
At the end of the game, I was just sitting there going,
could have been the hero.
I could have picked the Cardinals here, and I
Cue
didn't.
the song when a hero comes along.
Oh, it was brutal. It was miserable.
Who's the artist on that? Cher?
I have no idea.
Mariah Carey?
A little before my time, I'm afraid.
Did you see that Cher went in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Did really?
It was breaking news to me that Cher was alive.
Well, pretty sure I knew she was still kicking it, but
did you know she went in this weekend in Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
News to me. No, I'm not as up to date on the ins and outs of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, unfortunately.
Well,
but good
Mariah Carey, when a hero comes along. We had the Chargers group lock last night. We lose 1-3 NFL group locks this year.
Yeah, but you and Darian both the big winners in the first game, taking the Ravens. What a wild game that was! Down 10-0, and then
got to be a sweater late.
Well, yeah,
when it became an onside kick fest.
That's right. Yes, but Ravens most of that game controlled the entire thing. And
did you know you can only try the onside kick in the fourth quarter? And be trailing? Did you know that?
Yeah, I did. I mean, if you had just asked me what are the rules of the onside kick, I probably couldn't have told you all of that. But now that you say it, I do remember that being a.
Here's I think the hypocrisy of the NFL. Mm-hmm. We talk injuries, head and neck, and I think that I hope they're sincere, but sure. I know they're sincere about trying to dodge the big class action.
Definitely.
But we're going to the 18th game. Mm-hmm. The only way to make football safer is to have less football.
That's right. Yeah.
If the onside kick and kickoff is the most dangerous play in sports, in all of sports, why would we ever have it, even if it was fourth quarter with you behind?
That's a great question. I don't know, but that's what they always tell you is this play is unnecessary and it's dangerous and we need to limit it.
It's almost like this time the fire won't burn you.
That's right. Yeah.
No, fire's going to burn you anytime.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't matter if it's the first quarter or the fourth quarter. I mean,
it doesn't matter if it's big raging Halloween bonfire. If it's a little lighter, it will still burn you.
Yes, it's going to be hot. I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
No,
so the NFL just they're all over the place on that. And now this week with Tua in the spotlight on his injury, I think it's headed for disaster.
Yeah, I pray it doesn't, but I'm afraid that is unfortunately the way it is looking. Well, we've got a busy show today, so let me go ahead and set it up for today before we get to top and not top story of the day. 3:30, Matt Infield from Action News 5. He'll join us to talk some Tigers. We'll have to talk about that win over North Texas this weekend, 11 a.m. against Charlotte. We might get to some basketball with Matt as well. 3:45, NBA opening night. It's here. We have a doubleheader on TNT. Will start at 6:30 with Knicks at Celtics as they'll hang a banner in Boston, and then 9 o'clock Timberwolves at Lakers.
And the Lakers have a banner from the IST tournament last year.
That's right. Yes.
So dueling banners tonight.
Dueling banners. How about that? Yes. So two interesting games tonight in the NBA to kick everything off. 4 o'clock. Brent Beard from First Coast News in Jacksonville will join us. We'll talk a ton of college football with Brent at 4 o'clock. 4:30, we'll talk about what we learned from the weekend in both college football and the NFL. 4:45, we'll get to big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Bo Marchant will join us to talk the NFL. Plenty to get to with him, including the news that Tua is coming back. He's starting practice this week and hopes to return to the field very, very soon. So we'll get his thoughts on that and everything that happened this past weekend in the NFL. 5:30, it's time to make some predictions for the NBA. We'll go through the Eastern Conference today, make our picks for the East. Then tomorrow, at the same time at 5:30, we'll go through the West, make our selections for the Western Conference, and we'll crown a NBA champion, our prediction for NBA champion. So we'll get to all of that at 5:30, and then at 5:45, we'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Crunch Time. Let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. It's the world's biggest spa sale going on now at Family Leisure. Save thousands on in-stock hot tubs ready for delivery. Spa starting at $28.99. Cold plunges at $39.99. Swim spas at $17,499. Special financing is available, and don't forget about the huge discounts on all in-stock above-ground pools too, and all patio furniture. It's priced to move. So head over to Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40.
We are Sports Time. He's Brian. I'm Brett. Our great producers are Grayson and Darian. We're with you until 6 o'clock. We want you to be a big part of our show by calling or texting 901-360-8255. That's the Sissy's Log Cabin text and talk line. All our guests will appear on that same number, 901-360-8255, at the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. We're always in our Family Leisure Studios, and this hour is always brought to you by the one and only Lexus dealership in town. That is Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Great offers on the remaining 2024s. The 2025s are taking over, and always special leasing options. Call them at 901-334-9673, but stop by the one and only Lexus dealership in town at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2025 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and driving in style. You'll also drive in luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day has got to be the NBA season is officially here, and it starts tonight with a doubleheader both on TNT. Knicks Celtics will get us started. Then it'll be Timberwolves and Lakers. I think a lot of interesting things in both games. For that first one, obviously you have the defending champions, the Celtics. What do they look like this year as they start their goal of going back-to-back? Can they get it done? How do they look in game one? It will be banners. It will be celebration. It will be rings. But then on the other side, the Knicks, remember all the offseason talk of this is their year, the moves they're making, we're going to win them a championship. Well, we'll see what this new looks Knicks team looks like. It was all the Nova boys earlier in the offseason, but then Dante DiVincenzo now with the Timberwolves, Karl Anthony Towns now with the Knicks. How can Karl Anthony Towns play with that Knicks offense gains, and they'll need a lot out of him, especially early this season with the injury to Mitchell Robinson. And then that second game, Timberwolves versus Lakers, one of the best young players in the league on his way to superstardom, Anthony Edwards for the Timberwolves versus one of the GOATs, LeBron James. And will we see Bronny tonight? It looks like a lot of the reporting says that the Lakers are going to go ahead and get this out of the way early.
The Griffies are there to see it.
The Griffies are there as a special
They can't make them go to every game. They got to do it tonight for them.
Yes. So I love it. Brian Windhorst this morning on Get Up said they won't say directly if he's going to play tonight, but kind of showing their hand by letting it known that the Griffies were going to be there tonight. So it sounds like that will get out of the way and that Bronny and LeBron will take the court together. It sounds like at least Brian Windhorst is thinking that it could happen early in the second quarter, which will be cool to see LeBron and Bronny being able to play together. But hopefully both really, really good games right now. Boston a 5.5-point favorite, Minnesota a 1.5, and then tomorrow we'll really get rolling, especially with the Grizzlies as they'll be on the road tomorrow night, 8 p.m. against the Jazz.
My top story, only the back-to-back and three-time Super Bowl champions in this era, Kansas City Chiefs, remain undefeated. The Vikings go down. The Chiefs, they're not going undefeated. And this year it will be very, very bittersweet when the 72 Dolphins have their toast, because I think the king of the toast that kind of started that and was the point person, the face man for that, was Mercury Morris, and just lost Mercury Morris. But the Chiefs aren't going undefeated, but they're the last one with any chance to join the 72 Dolphins. What do they have to do to be considered a dynasty, the Chiefs? I think they're getting close to it. I hear they're not that good on offense. They still have Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, Jason Kelce. No, Travis Kelce. And the defense is still carrying them a little bit with Chris Jones inside from Mississippi State. But I look at the standings, and I only see 1-6-0 team, and I see them with a 3-game lead in the all-important loss column in the AFC West. Nobody's catching them in the West. Denver, come on, they're not. This is with Mahomes right now, 16th in quarterback ratings, and overall offense, they're 4th in rush, 20th in pass, and then on defense, they're 12th passing, 10th rushing.
Not top story of the day.
Well, my not top story of the day, it's right back to what you were talking about in the NFL. Another week down, and the Chiefs still on top in the NFL. A lot of people thinking the 49ers at home, they were favorites. They're going to get it done. But no, it was all Chiefs all afternoon. And now the 49ers, oh, man, the injuries that they have it's just a mess. It seems like all of their weapons are injured or sick or something going on with them. But I thought a good weekend in the NFL started early with the Jaguars getting a win over the Patriots. Does that save Doug Peterson some time as head coach?
Double the win total.
That is
not many weeks you can do that.
That is a great point. That is a great point, Brett. But you look throughout the day, some really fun games. That Lions and Vikings game was awesome to watch in the afternoon. Chiefs 49ers was great. Heck, even the Steelers hanging 37 on the Jets was fun. And then I thought 2 good games last night on Monday Night Football. You had the Ravens overcome a 10-0 start to win by 10. You had the Cardinals beat the Chargers with a walk-off field goal. And for me especially, I take this weekend as a win. Cowboys didn't play, so they couldn't lose, so it's a win for me.
It's official. My Lions.
Oh.
My Detroit Lions.
Okay.
My team the rest of the year.
All right. Love it.
My not top story, NBA predictions are all over the place. DeMichael Cole told us yesterday at 5 o'clock when he joined us, and he will every Monday all the way through the NBA Finals, that they're everywhere for the Grizzlies. You can see the Grizzlies. I've seen, I think 3's the high. You see them out of the playoff picture in a lot of places around the league. It's overwhelming that the Celtics will repeat. Someone that we love, Brian Geltziler from NBA Radio, he doesn't have the Grizzlies in the playoffs.
Wow.
There's so many questions. It's a critical 6th year for the Wonderkins, the front office that's been great, and I think will be great for years to come. But remember, the last front office went to the Western Conference Finals in the 6th year.
Yeah.
This front office, 1 playoff series win.
Right. Yeah. And it all starts tomorrow night on FanDuel Sports Network. Oh,
That's
man,
it. FDSN.
Almost lost it there for a second. I had to try to remember. I saw it today. I mean, the shock on my face when I'm flipping through channels this morning and I see FanDuel Sports Network. I was like, "What is this?" And I was like, "Oh."
And this seals it that Rob Fisher now is professional handicapper.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it almost feels like now every time he joins us, he's required to give us some sort of pick. We got to get a pick from him because he's with FanDuel Sports Network. He's got to. It's now we're going to put that in his contract with us. But I'll
we will have to get a bunch of picks from him tomorrow at 5 in Salt Lake City where the Grizzlies are on their way.
Yes, we will. But let's go ahead and get to a break. And when we come back, we're talking Tigers with Matt Infield.
Memphis, it's official. Crab King Seafood is where it's at. For the most flavored seafood and the biggest plates, run to a Crab King's near you. Visit the Bartlett Cordova location at 7140 Stage Road. The price, the portions, the service is why Crab King's is #1. So don't be disappointed in seafood. Make the right choice the first time and every time. Make it Crab King's. Crab Kings have only locally grown catfish. Come and devour tasty snow crabs, king crab, shrimp, salmon, catfish, calamari, and so much more. Enjoy Memphis's best tasting pasta with your choice of toppings. Visit the Bartlett Cordova location at 7140 Stage Road. Crab Kings is open Wednesday through Sunday. Enjoy 50% off lunch portions and dollar fountain drinks. The #1 name in Cajun seafood is Crab King Seafood, a Memphis favorite. Crab King, 7140 Stage Road. Kings with the Z.
It's here, Genesis Diamond's largest ever sale on luxury pre-owned Rolex watches. It's international today. If you've ever dreamed of wearing a Rolex, you can't miss this special 2-day event this Friday and Saturday. During this event, you can take advantage of special pricing and zero interest financing on a stunning selection of luxurious pre-owned Rolex timepieces. We've got Rolex, Volts, Submariners, Daytonas, Pepsis, the hottest model Rolex watches that you can't find anywhere else. All of our luxury pre-owned Rolexes are in pristine, light new condition, some just out of the box, and all priced to sell at this event. Listen to this: for the purchase of any luxury pre-owned Rolex at this event, Genesis will give you a pair of 2-carat lab-grown diamond stud earrings for free. That's a $3,000 value. And listen up, Rolex owners, our pre-owned Rolex buyers are on site offering top dollar for your Rolex. Come see the largest selection of luxury Rolex watches in the state and take advantage of special financing. Plus, get a pair of 2-carat lab-grown diamond stud earrings free. Is this Friday and Saturday only at all Genesis Diamonds on Poplar and Perkins Extended.
Family Leisure is having the world's biggest spa set, and it's happening right now. You can save thousands on in-stock hot tubs that are ready to be delivered. Family Leisure has spas that start at just $28.99. You know those cold plunges? You can get one for yourself starting at $39.99. Or how about swim spas? They start at $17,499. Plus, Family Leisure has set up special financing just for this event. Have you been sitting on the fence about an above-ground pool? Get off that fence and get to Family Leisure to take advantage of huge discounts on all their in-stock above-ground pools. And if you need some patio furniture, it's all priced to move out now. It's not too late to have some summer fun, courtesy of Family Leisure. But you better hurry up. The world's biggest spa set might go on forever. Family Leisure. Witten Road at I-40. Family and fun come together.
Mayweather Boxing and Fitness offers a high-energy, full-body workout that utilizes the same equipment and technology employed by Floyd Mayweather to achieve his impressive 50-0 record. The workout features 4 types of heavy bags, treadmills, rowers, battle ropes, weights, and much more. Visit Mayweather Boxing and Fitness, located at 2257 North Germantown Parkway in Cordova. Train like a champ. Mayweather Boxing and Fitness, 901-673-1267.
Get ready, Memphis. It's our 35th annual Trucktober happening here at Sunrise Buick GMC at Wolf Chase. Big trucks, load trucks, 4-wheel drive trucks, 2-wheel drive trucks, crew cab trucks, trucks, extended cab trucks, diesel trucks, gas trucks. We got red trucks, black trucks, white trucks. We got trucks for big jobs. We got trucks for weekend warriors. We got trucks with great gas mileage and trucks for all your towing needs. Huge discounts, big rebates, special interest rates. We've got it all. Ford, slow pay, it's all okay at Sunrise, home of the guaranteed approval. Come see us for all your car, truck, and SUV needs. Visit us at the good-looking building on Highway 64 in Bartlett. It's Truck Month. We make it fun to buy a car.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Brian Davis.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you, and we got to talk some Tigers. And joining us every single week to talk Tigers, Matt Infield from Action News 5. He joins us now. Matt, thanks so much for joining us. It was a wild one Saturday night at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. A shootout. You said it last Tuesday when we talked to you. Take the over in this game. I was kicking myself. I forgot about it before the game started because the over hit, no doubt. What was your takeaway from the offense really showing something against that North Texas defense?
Yeah, what was the over-under, like 76 or something like that?
Yeah.
So if you could have taken the alt line like 90 and been in good shape. And I think I said if the Tigers scored 40-plus, they would win. It turns out they needed 50-plus. But, yeah, it's just kind of one of those games where it's back and forth. And kind of you felt like whoever was going to get the ball last was going to win. Thankfully, that didn't turn out to be the case. Memphis came up with a timely stop at the end. But, yeah, I think it's good that we finally saw that against the more vulnerable defense that this offense does have the ability to have that kind of blow-up game. I think what's interesting as we get to the season is, I think everyone thought the identity of this offense, the bread and butter, would be, the pass game with guys like Rock Taylor and Demir Blankenship with Seth Hennigan throwing to them, and the running game led by Mario Anderson as kind of the complement. The pass catchers had a nice night on Saturday, but obviously it was Mario's show, and I think that we're kind of seeing that, this offense kind of goes as he does a lot of the time, and you go back to the USF game the week before, he gets ejected, and the offense totally stalls out the rest of the game. So, yeah, I think it's good to see they put up a crooked number on the board. Obviously, you would like the defense get a couple more stops, but, the North Texas number was also skewed a little bit by the fact that they scored a 75-yard touchdown on their first two plays from scrimmage. The rest of the game, it wasn't quite as bad defensively. But, you'll take that win against a really explosive offense on the other side, and you move on. And I think it was good to see a 50-burger plus on the Tigers side.
No, it absolutely was. I think a lot of people were wanting to see more from this offense, and you definitely got it Saturday against that North Texas defense. When you talk about Mario Anderson, he's been so good, but you look at those carries, I think 22 carries, 23 carries, something like that, in that game against North Texas. It feels like Greg Duosier is nearing a return. What do you think that will look like when he gets back to fully healthy and is able to play? I'm sure they'll try to bring him in, maybe a little slow at first, but how can he help this offense as we kind of turn the corner on the season?
Yeah, I think that especially in some of those like more obvious passing situations and as like a third down back, and Mario's proven to be plenty capable of handling some of those duties in the passing game and with protection and whatnot. But I think that, like you said, he's been operating as a workhorse, getting the large majority of the touches, although Brandon Thomas has stepped up and done a nice job as well as the number 2 back. But yeah, I think Duosier kind of taking some of the passing down stuff off Mario's plate, maybe sparing him some carries here and there. I think it will help keep Mario fresh down the stretch because, it is a heavy workload and there's still a lot of season left, and you want him healthy and feeling good when the games really, really count towards the end of the season. I'm thinking Thanksgiving night gets Tulane and, maybe a conference championship game after that. So, yeah, I think that the more explosive, fresh bodies you can throw into that rotation at that position, it's never a bad thing.
Matt, let's throw out the kind of the high and low for the year. I think the high is still winning at FSU, and the low is no doubt is the loss and how the Horvath-led Navy offense really gashed the Tigers. Everything else has been about like we thought it would be. Had a couple of defensive games. Saturday turned into an offensive game. Kind of throwing out the high and the low, what's your forecast for the rest of the year?
Good question. I mean, I think they should probably be favored to win the rest of their games, maybe minus Tulane, but I think that forecast can kind of change depending on the way the two programs play over the next month. You know, like we talked about before, I think that for a large part of the season, you know, maybe the offense was performing a tad below expectations, while the defense, by and large, has played above expectations. Now, obviously, the defense is coming off a poor performance on Saturday night, but the offense is coming off their best performance of the season. So, you know, I think they're a good football team. I think that maybe it hasn't been quite as dominant all season as we thought it could be or it had the potential to be. But, you know, at the end of the day, I think the only part that's a little unfortunate is they don't control their own destiny. But, again, that's kind of credit to what Army and Navy have done. And, you know, we talked about it after the Navy loss. You know, I think we said that team, the Navy team, that offense was legit. That wasn't like some fluky performance. And, you know, they've proved that ever since then. So, that being said, I think if the Tigers went out, I think that there's a decent enough chance they end up playing in that conference championship game. That's all out there in front of them. So, yeah, I think by and large, maybe, you know, you want to see a continuation of what the offense did on Saturday night, and then defensively, maybe get back to more of what they played like the majority of the season. But again, you got to give credit to North Texas too. North Texas is one of the most dynamic offenses in the entire country, and you saw proof of that on Saturday night. So, yeah, I think that you'll take the record right now and hope that some things fall your way and you can still play for what you want to play for.
Matt, I said yesterday those two quarterbacks Saturday at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium, Chandler Morris and Seth Hennigan, could start for a lot of teams in the SEC, a lot of teams across college football.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hadn't seen a ton of Chandler Morris until Saturday night. But yeah, I mean, he's dynamic. He can create plays outside the pocket. He can make he can make some off-platform throws. He can clearly run a little bit. And, you know, we know Seth brings to the table as well. So yeah, I mean, if you're a fan of offense, that was definitely a great game to watch on Saturday night. And I'm with you. You know, there's a pretty good chance that Memphis may not see a quarterback that good the rest of the way. I mean, to be determined. But yeah, I mean, that North Texas offense is no joke.
Matt, you mentioned the Navy loss a couple minutes ago, and Brett and I have kind of discussed maybe people still being a little down on this team and maybe not as energized with it being a one-loss team this far in the season. Do you think some of that or a lot of that has to do with the fact that going in the season, people had an idea of the teams they could lose to in conference play, Tulane, USF, none of those included Navy, but now do you think it's helped a little bit seeing where Navy is and maybe that a lot of us underestimated this team going into the season?
Yeah, absolutely. Because, you know, I think we were looking at the schedule before the season, and we kind of, you know, we bookmarked, okay, Tulane Thanksgiving night in New Orleans. That's going to be really tough. Obviously, USF in Tampa after the season they had. That's going to be a sneaky little trap game for Memphis, if you want to call it that. Going to San Antonio to play UTSA, that could definitely be a bump in the road. You know, but, you know, again, hindsight is 20/20, and none of us knew that this Navy offense was going to make this leap this year and be able to really throw the ball down the field, which is a dimension that they haven't had in the past. So, and clearly, as we get further and further away from that loss and Navy keeps winning, that doesn't look like that bad of a loss, especially given that it was on the road. Right. And obviously a big part of the disappointment as well is that right off the bat in conference play, their hopes of potentially playing in the conference championship game and then conversely being in the conversation for the college football playoff, that took a big hit. You know, your first game of conference play, and, you know, they just kind of had to play catch-up since then. But I don't think that, you know, if that ends up being their only loss in conference play, I think you kind of have to tip your cap. And, you know, Memphis could have played better, and they had a chance to win that game for sure. But it wasn't like they lost to some slouchy Navy team of years past. That's a good offense that has thrown wrinkles in there that we haven't seen from them anytime recently. And, you know, they've proven it week after week. And, you know, they're mowing down everyone in their path right now. So, yeah, I think as we get further from that loss, it kind of looks like, all right, it's not really that bad after all.
Matt, that's just an excellent point, and I'm as guilty of it as anybody. You know, it already feels different today than it did the Tuesday after losing at Annapolis. You know, after that, I'm going, I gave up 56 to Navy. You know, there are 2 or 3 more losses in here. I don't know that there's another loss in here for the Tigers. You're right. That loss is not I mean, it looks pretty good now with what Navy's doing. And this week, Navy's, really going to, have the national appeal playing Notre Dame at MetLife Stadium.
Yeah, and I think we said after that game, Blake Horvath looked like a Heisman contender after that game. And I don't know if Blake Horvath is getting an invite to New York, but clearly, he's played the rest of the season. He's a pretty damn good player, and he fits that offense pretty well, and they're executing at a really, really high level and putting up points on basically everyone they play right now. So, credit to them and Army because they're both performing above expectations. And if Memphis ends up with one loss in conference play, and that one loss to Navy cost them a chance to play in the conference championship game, yeah, it's unfortunate. It's going to be a bad feeling, but it's not going to be a loss you look back on, in my opinion, and say, wow, we really left one out there. It's going to be, we were slightly outplayed on the road by a really good offense in their environment. This is what it is sometimes.
And the irony of ironies, let's say that Army and Navy win out, that they both defeat Navy, and they both finish the season. That would be, is that 11 or 12-0? Is their game against each other an added game, or is it? But anyway, let's say they're undefeated, and they're getting ready to play in the AAC championship game. Well, that game is Saturday, December 7th. The Heisman Trophy ceremony is Saturday night, December 14th, with the traditional Army-Navy game being played at the NFL home of Washington that afternoon in Landover, Maryland.
Yeah, and we could get back-to-back weeks of that. Yeah, it would be wild. I mean, I don't know that any of us saw this coming from either one of the service academies, let alone both of them. But, no, I mean, this is a large enough sample at this point to say that those are two good football teams that absolutely deserve to be. I don't know that either one of them is going to end up in that conversation for the Group of 5 playoff spot, but they're probably, either one of them wins out, and they're probably one or two Boise losses away from really being in the thick of that. So, no, you just have to, at a certain point, you give credit to them. They have evolved. They've taken their offenses to another level, and they're good football teams. But again, that does not mean that the hopes and dreams for the Tigers right now are done. It's just, that loss obviously makes it tougher.
Their traditional game, Saturday, December 14th, will be both of those teams' 12th game. But they're as scheduled. Their 12th game could come the week before that in an AAC championship game. And Bryson Daly and Horvath both could, if they're undefeated, they both could be, I guess the U.S. government would have to put them on an airplane and get them to New York after the Army-Navy game.
Back-to-back weeks of Army-Navy would be pretty unprecedented, I imagine, and that would be pretty wild. And like you said, if either one of them ends up as one of the guys that ends up in New York, and I guess it's not totally out of the question. You think of guys like Genti and Travis Hunter and whatnot, but I think that the rest of the spots are probably up for interpretation to a certain point. So, it's not out of the question.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be a great Heisman ceremony? You got Army-Navy quarterbacks. You've got a two-way player in Travis Hunter. You got a running back at Boise State. In this first year of college football playoffs, that's the Heisman ceremony we deserve.
Mm-hmm.
I brought up this point last week on Twitter. I'm curious your guys' thoughts on it. I can't remember the last time there was a college running back with as much buzz around him for what he's doing in college as Ashton Genti.
Yeah.
Now, I think there have been more hyped NFL prospects in recent years. Bijan Robinson comes to mind a couple of years ago. But, I threw it out there. I'm like, a couple people brought up Saquon Barkley at Penn State, which is probably a good one because he was a megastar there. But after that, might be going back to McCaffrey at Stanford, Derrick Henry at Alabama, and then maybe into the late 2000s. It's been a long time since there's been a college running back with this much buzz around him. I think
Mark Ingram, when he won the Heisman in 2009, that was a real late bloomer. That was a first weekend in November on thing. It wasn't all season like the good running back at Boise.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you think about even like in that decade, you have guys like Darren McFadden, Reggie Bush is kind of his own tier of superstardom. But we're probably at least 5+ years removed from a college running back being the talk of the sport the way Ashton Genty is right now.
Yeah, that's a really good point. That's going to be a fun game this weekend with Boise up against UNLV. That'll be a really good Mountain West game. But, Matt, as always, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll do it again with you next week.
Thank you, gentlemen. Have a good day. I'll talk to you guys next Tuesday.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you, Matt.
Matt Infield joining us from Action News 5 to talk some Tigers, and a lot to talk about right now with this football team, and certainly in the next couple of weeks we'll be talking more basketball with Matt as the season begins. But let's go ahead and get to another break, and when we come back, it's opening night in the NBA, a doubleheader on TNT, Knicks and Celtics, Timberwolves and Lakers. We'll talk about opening night next.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
What happens when former real estate agents want to sell their homes? This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Mark's Benstorff Realtors. I am so proud and feel so honored when former real estate agents contact me when they want to sell their homes or someone has called them asking whom they should use. They know that I've been in the business for quite a while, have a great deal of experience, and know that I'm good at marketing and I'm part of a nationwide relocation network. Over the years, I've developed a highly successful strategic marketing program that can make the difference in what you make and when. Thinking of selling? Talk to 2 to 3 real estate brokers, but make sure I'm one of them. Remember what people often say that when you want the job done, call Shell Done. So if you or someone you know is thinking of selling, remember what other former real estate agents do. They call me at 483-0546 or email me at memphisrelocate.com. Shell Dunn Rosengarten at memphisrelocate.com or 483-0546.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
Don't do it.
Don't do what?
Don't do another Halloween spot for Central Barbecue.
But it's October. Doing a Halloween spot for Central Barbecue is a tradition.
But it doesn't make it a good thing.
Nothing else happens in October.
Baseball?
Not if you're a Cardinals fan. What else you got?
National Candy Corn Day.
No Central Barbecue connection.
Fair point. How about Make a Difference Day?
That's to encourage people to do something constructive for the world.
And going to Central Barbecue isn't?
I'm telling you, it's got to be Halloween.
There's no other choice, I guess.
Hey, Zeke.
Yeah?
This year, give the kiddies ribs on Halloween. They love that.
Seriously, next year, something new.
I've got him on the line, Jason, the main man marshal at Gossett Volkswagen on the Pike. Hey, give me the lowdown, Jason.
Here's what's really low down. Interest rates. All 2024 Volkswagen Tiguan's now 0% for 60 months.
0% for 60 months available on every 2024 Tiguan. That's awesome. What else you got?
Randy, all peak edition Atlas is now $5,000 off MSRP.
A whopping $5,000 off MSRP on all peak edition Atlases. Hey, what else you got?
Right now, take your pick for 2024 Taos SE or 2024 Jetta SE. $289 a month.
Taos SE or Jetta SE, $289 a month. Wow, Jason, the main man marshal, you got it going on.
And remember, at Gossett Volkswagen on the Pike, no reasonable offer will be refused.
That's Gossett Volkswagen, 1875 Covington Pike. Online, GossettDWMemphis.com.
Where we're charging for it and charging less every day.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stacks Norsworthy and Brian Gates.
Welcome back in Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you as we wrap up our first hour here. And we got to talk about the NBA because it's opening night in the NBA, a doubleheader on TNT. Knicks Celtics will get it started at 6:30, and then about 9 o'clock, Timberwolves and Lakers. I'm excited for both these games. I think things to learn about all four of these teams, what they will be this year. I think, intriguing teams with kind of that superstar power on all of them. So tonight should be a lot of fun on TNT.
Brian, we talk so many times about what a special day, and it's going to happen soon, what a special day it's going to be one of these years when we host at FedEx Forum on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
The even more special year is when the Grizzlies are going on this Tuesday night.
That's right. Yes.
That will be even better because that means you were probably in the NBA Finals or you won the NBA Finals. And tonight, with it getting started on the parquet at Boston Garden and late at Crypto, that's two great palaces of NBA basketball.
Yeah.
League knows what they're doing, don't they?
Oh, no, they absolutely know what they're doing, and even throwing
Markets,
in,
buzz.
Oh, yeah, and throwing in the Timberwolves in there with Anthony Edwards and just
and the Minnesota connection with the Lakers way back when.
Yes.
Kind of maybe.
Maybe the NBA's done this a time or two,
Yeah.
They're not new kids on the block by any means, but
and the Celtics fans, they will get after the Knicks because they know that if there's going to be somebody that knocks him out of the 1 seed, it's probably the Knicks.
Yeah, and a lot of excitement for in New York for what the Knicks could do this year. And we saw the big trade about a month ago now at this point, and now we'll see what Karl Anthony Towns can do as a member of this Knicks team, and will it work out? I've heard some people maybe a little skeptical of it, and we'll see how he fits with these other guys.
And pressure's on Minnesota.
Sure.
Their expectations in being the 100.
Yeah, 100%. And so I like how opening day is kind of set up because that trade was between the Knicks and the Timberwolves. And so we'll see what can these new players do that the Knicks got, and especially, more importantly, especially for Grizzly fans and for the Grizzlies, what do these new pieces add to the Timberwolves? Because you got Rudy Gobert down there in the front court, but now no Karl Anthony Towns. It's going to be Julius Randle down there for the Timberwolves. What does that front court look like now for them? You expect Anthony Edwards to be brilliant again this year. I think a lot of people should be watching the second game to see what the Timberwolves look like.
For this year, for how playoffs shape up come April, May, the Timberwolves are more hunted than the Lakers.
100%. And I think you look around at people doing projections for what the seeding could look like. I'm sure there are a lot more people that have Minnesota 1, 2, or 3 than they have the Lakers, maybe even in the top 7, the protected seeds. And so, there's going to be a lot of questions about this Lakers team. And definitely the Timberwolves have put themselves in a spot where I think they're considered closer to the top. I saw this morning on NBA TV, they were kind of going through a lot of the teams, and are they a top 6 team in their conference? Are they a playoff team in their conference? And they went through the Grizzlies and asked, are they a top 6 team in the Western Conference? And I forget who was on the show.
Steve Smith said no. He said 6, 7.
Okay, that was I was about to say because I heard 3 and I wasn't really paying attention. I don't remember if I was in the room or not. But I was kind of watching and not watching. But he said not top 6,
not top 6,
but they're top 7 or 8. And and then I think they even talked about the Timberwolves and said they're certainly up there, top 6. So it's the West is going to be for keeps this year.
They got to take a big step back, right? No. Minnesota, they're banking on Nas Reed.
Oh, but Nas Reed, oh man, you're under.
You lit up for Nas Reed?
Oh, I love Nas Reed. Oh man,
I knew Bryant would.
Oh man, my type of guy.
He was an original Nas Reed guy. He's team Nas Reed.
I love Nas Reed.
Think of all. I talked about Kirk Herbstreit saying 30 different teams could be in the college football playoff.
Yeah.
Think how many different teams that you could legitimately throw out there of being one of the 2 teams in the Western Conference Finals.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy.
We'll do that tomorrow.
Yeah.
When we do West tomorrow. We're going to do East at 5:30 today. Tomorrow we'll do West after we visit with Rob Fisher live from Salt Lake City.
Yeah, no, we will. And it's a good question because, you think of all the top teams in the Western Conference, and it was that same segment I was watching on NBA TV earlier today, and right after asking about the Grizzlies, they asked about the Rockets. Can the Rockets improve this year? So, you've got all the teams that were in the playoffs last year. You got a team like the Grizzlies that are now healthy again.
What do you do with San Antonio?
What do you do with San Antonio? They've got to improve.
They're not going to win a series.
No.
But they could be anywhere from 8 to 13.
They absolutely could. And it's going to be crazy. So I'm really excited about doing our Western Conference tomorrow.
Excited about the year.
Sure. Oh, yeah. No, it's going to be fun. It all gets
great
off
season, great Olympics. Really, the NBA hype promotion never ended. And we get it going tonight, and we really get it going tomorrow night.
Yeah, no, tomorrow's going to be a ton of fun, but it'll be a lot of fun tonight as well on TNT. But let's go ahead and wrap up this first hour and get to a break. When we come back, we're talking college football with Brent Beard.
Come out for their lunch specials Monday through Friday, 11 to 2. Ask about their world-famous split dog and authentic Chicago or New York dog. Try the leaner side of Dyers with a grilled chicken sandwich or freshly made salad. Also serving Lakes Delta-raised catfish, Pasquale's tamales, and a customer favorite hand-breaded onion rings. Dyers, serving world-famous burgers, dogs, and shakes in Collierville's historic town square.
It's here. Genesis Diamonds, the largest ever sale on luxury pre-owned. You can't miss this special 2-day event this Friday and Saturday. During this event, you can take advantage of special pricing, see the largest financing on a stunning selection of luxury pre-owned timepieces. Hundreds of Musk, Submariners, Daytonas, Pepsi, hottest model Rolex watches that you can't find anywhere else. Our luxury pre-owned Rolexes are in pristine, like-new condition, some just out of the box, all priced to sell this event. Purchase a luxury pre-owned Rolex at Genesis Extended.
Get your holiday started with the perfect tree in your perfect style from the Home Depot. Whether you want something that you can assemble in a few clicks, steal the show with over 2,000 color-changing bulbs, or a tree with lights that can be controlled by remote or foot pedal. Home Depot has it all in our huge assortment of premium trees, plus free delivery of over 2 million items this holiday from the Home Depot. Subject to availability.
Hi, this is Dave Woloshin. Tune into my show Wednesday, October the 23rd. We're going to do something a little different. We're going to donate most of the show to talk about Alzheimer's. The annual Walk to End Alzheimer's is coming up Saturday, October the 26th at Shelby Farms, and we're going to try to raise a little extra money for the cause. We'll be selling a Penny Hardaway autographed basketball, a Ryan Silverfield autographed football, tickets to the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, and many other great items. Please tune in and help us raise money for Alzheimer's Wednesday, October 23rd. Thank you.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis with John Harden. Weekdays from 11 to 1. Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. It got a little bit busy earlier. We had a minor crash, but they moved it quickly on 240 southbound at Lamar. But there's still a lot of volume at times trying to get out of the Midtown area on 240 southbound from Lamar all the way down to Norris. It's looking a little bit better now on 40 west at Canada Road, where we had a slowdown out there earlier. Now it's time for it to crank up on 40 east as you head out towards Canada Road on into Fayette County. Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64 is your full-service, family-owned jewelry store right here in Memphis. Go by and see them at Weimer's Jewelry. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacre.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you as we're in our Family Leisure Studios. As we are every single day and every single Tuesday, we talk college football and a lot to get to after a busy, busy weekend. So let's go ahead and get to Brent Beard.
College football talk every Tuesday with Brent Beard, Heisman voter, and on Twitter X at Brent Beard. SEC, ACC, AAC. We talk it all with Brent. Here's Brent Beard with Bryant and Brett.
Brent Beard joins us now to talk some college football, and it was a busy, busy weekend in the college football world. So, Brent, let's start off with Tennessee, the big winners over Alabama. They relied on that run game. They relied on that defense, and when they needed a big play late in the game from Nico, he comes up with a big-time throw to the back of the end zone. What'd you make of Tennessee's performance at home against Alabama?
Well, we said before the game whoever won the rushing numbers would win the game, and that's very much what happened. I mean, Tennessee had over 200 yards rushing. Alabama didn't even have 100. So, and did Dylan Sampson again playing very well. So that game was so similar to the Florida game, frankly, that Alabama and Florida could have had a 3-touchdown lead at halftime. Instead, that Florida had 3 points, Alabama had 7, even after being in the red zone as many times as they did. So, I mean, there's still opportunity for both of them, but I don't know if Milroe's not hurt. I'm wondering if he got hurt in the South Carolina game and he's trying to play through it. And but to be very honest, guy, he was abysmal in that game, overthrowing guys by 10 yards. Really wasn't able to do anything much in the running game. So they've got to get a lot of things fixed, or at least an attempt to, before they play Missouri this Saturday.
Is it as much of a must-win as Alabama's been in a long time?
Oh, yeah. I mean, if they run the table, they'll probably get the playoffs at 10-2. But this is an important game at this point. Yes.
Playoffs start this weekend for Mizzou and Alabama.
I mean, they do. There's no question about that. Then they've got a week off, and then they play at LSU. So really, they've got their important games coming up. Frankly, or the next two. I mean, it's not that Oklahoma and Auburn aren't important, but I mean, even as dysfunctional as they have been, they still should be able to win those two games because those two teams have been even more dysfunctional than they have.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Missouri, that game was crazy. They come back and beat Auburn, but it was after Brady Cook leaves the game with an ankle injury, leaves the entire stadium, goes to the hospital, gets it checked out, ends up coming back in the fourth quarter and really changing the whole mojo for that Missouri team. What did you make of him coming back and giving them a ton of energy?
Well, that was something out of a movie, frankly. I read something a few minutes ago that he didn't remember going to the hospital.
Holy cow!
So, that's just incredible. But look, when you've got Theo Weiss and you've got Luther Burden. Those guys take a lot of pressure off of a quarterback. So it was and the winning drive was like 95 yards. It really said a lot about Missouri and their capability of coming back. And frankly, guys can't put our finger on it quite yet. There's something not quite right with this Missouri team. Give them credit. They've won, but they've struggled almost every game. But we may not know what that is at this point. But their struggles aren't anything close to what's going on the Plains.
No, I think what's wrong with Mizzou is it's not enough emphasis being put on Luther Burden. I'm watching that game late, and I said out loud, make sure Burden handles the ball almost every single play the rest of the way. He ended up with 6 catches, but none of them were that impactful. And then you're right about the other side with Auburn, Brent. They're really bad, and he's selling hopes on the way. Are the Auburn faithful? Are they buying that? Yeah, help's on the way.
What they're buying is that they've got a highly recruited class that, according to some of the rankings, are in the top 10 at least, and not the top 5. So that's what they're selling at this point. The problem they've got is if this thing craters even more than it is, are they going to be able to hang on to these wide receivers that they have coveted and brought in? Now they've obviously got the former Notre Dame prospect who is coming in at quarterback, but look, man, I mean, you guys know how the recruiting game is played. At this point, the way they're doing, I mean, and I think their defense is doing okay, but this number is startling. Through 20 games, Hugh Freeze is 9-11, and Brian Harsin was 8-12. I mean, there's a hair breadth there, and they couldn't stand Harsin. So, and look, who knows that they'll be able to get it together to win in Kentucky this weekend.
Now, the wide receiver that's so coveted by everybody that's committed to Auburn, he's going to be in Oxford this weekend on official visit. And for Deuce Knight, neither Jeff Levy nor Lane Kiffin stopping on him until he puts ink on a piece of paper in December for Auburn.
Oh, yeah. And
they're not alone.
Oh, no. But see, here's the thing that's startling with Auburn, too. Another loss or two, and Auburn's got the 4th straight losing season, and that's not helping them at all.
No, it is not.
They've won 2 games. So
crazy.
what is cratering? Not winning another game?
Well, look, the way they played, frankly, Auburn beat writers would tell you it could get worse.
And I misspoke. Caleb Cunningham is committed to Alabama, not to Auburn. Deuce Knight has committed to Auburn.
Right. Well, my thing is, are they going to signing day still a while away? Are they going to be able to keep these kids? And look, the other thing, and then I won't continue to belabor the point here, but the issue is if the head coach and Hugh Freeze keeps throwing players and coaches under the bus, that's not helping matters either.
No, that's a good point. Really good point. From one team that's struggling to another team that's struggling in the SEC. This one, they've only been in the SEC a couple months, though. Oklahoma, they drop another one at home, this time to an okay South Carolina team, 35-9, the final score of that game. Now they're going to make a change at offensive coordinator after averaging about 280 total yards of offense. What have you seen from this Oklahoma team? Brett and I have been talking about it. It does not seem like Oklahoma was ready for the SEC.
No, it really doesn't, particularly on offense. But the other thing that really happened to them was, there were 3 things. All of them can be deadly. When you have all 3, it's a problem. One is you think you've got your situation straight at quarterback, and then you don't. and then you go back to now you go back to your previous quarterback, your offensive line, all 5 of them you've got to replace, and that's never going to be easy in this league. And I've never seen a situation like they've got at wide receiver to where basically every starting receiver they've got is out. I mean, and all the Brett may have, but all the years I've covered this, I've never seen a situation like that. So I mean, they're just getting the point right now, and it's certainly not going to help them with Ole Miss. That they can change coordinators, and maybe that will improve a little bit, but their offense probably they're not going to be able to do anything with that offense really into the season's over.
Ole Miss a 20-point favorite over Oklahoma.
I believe it.
I mean, in Brennan, our lives, 70s and 80s, the idea of some year Oklahoma's going to be in the SEC, and the first time they go to Oxford, they're going to be a 20-point underdog. We would have bet a lot of money against that.
Well, we would have gotten rich off that situation. But yeah, that is.
Or been in debtor prison.
Oh yeah, really.
Brent, I think every year about this time I hit this feeling. There are some years I don't, but there's been a lot of years that I do, and I watch it every week. Sometimes I wonder if it's maybe too up close. How good is the SEC?
Well, I don't know if we know that yet. But I mean, all we can go by, or we think they'll get maybe 4 in the playoff. We think, I mean, when we look at the numbers with the rankings, and we can make arguments with that, with as many as they've got in the top 10, the top 15. But, I mean, are they, if they lined up and they played Ohio State and Oregon, how would they do in that situation, or Penn State? I mean, I think they'd beat Penn State. So I don't know.
Well, we know how they did when they lined up and played USC.
Yeah, they did. They did. Now USC is look for USC, when you get beat by Maryland, that tells you something where your program's going.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we know how they did when they lined up and played Miami.
That's right. Oh yeah.
And for that matter, Oklahoma State.
Yes. And speaking of playing Miami, unfortunately, FSU has that challenge this weekend, and they will hang 70 on FSU if they can do it.
And now I'm enamored by what Mike Elko's doing at Texas A&M, and I think he even has a game to lose. He can lose that game against Texas and still make the playoffs, but we saw them just mumble fumble around opening night against A&M, or against Notre Dame, rather.
People have a different look at teams when they struggle early and then they get it together. And A&M has been able to do that with I mean, Connor Wigman is not a Heisman Trophy candidate, but he's steady and he's solid. A&M's got a good D-line that helps them tremendously. That's going to be a great game with LSU this weekend. I think I know this is going to sound strange. I really do. I'm with you. I really have been very impressed with Elko. And look, all these guys have got egos, or they wouldn't be in the job. But I'll say this: I don't see a whole lot of that out of Elko, and that's one thing that's really impressed me about him. He does his job. He makes them better. They're significantly improved than when Jimbo was there.
That's it. He's turned the heat down from that.
Yeah, yes, there's no doubt about that. So, I mean, he just goes back to doing his job, and he's been very effective. So, I mean, could you? I think you could say this LSU A&M game is between, if there were 2 surprise teams in the conference right now, on a positive side, it'd probably be these 2.
All right, Brent, I asked that about how good the SEC at media days in the preseason. We thought this was a vintage quarterback year, maybe one of the all-timers for the SEC. We even talked about Jackson Arnold, and some talked about Brock Vandegrift and others. How good's the quarterback play? Rank your top 4 quarterbacks in the SEC. Is Carson Beck number 1?
Probably. And look, Georgia people would tell you he hadn't been great.
He sure hadn't.
Frankly,
Dart's been real good, but a lot of Dart's numbers were built up against the non-conference cream puffs.
Nussmeier has been more effective than I thought he would be. I mean, he leads the
Keyword,
league.
effective.
Or is up there. So, I mean, he is. I mean, I still think Nico is going to be really good when he puts 4 quarters together instead of just 2. I mean, I love Diego Pavia and what he's done and his moxie and all that's going on there. Lagway at Florida, I think, is going to be a superstar. But I like Brady Cook because he's dependable. But Brett, to your point, there are just. I mean, I've got a Heisman vote, and besides Carson Beck, you'd have to take a really heavy look at some of the rest of them. At the end, don't we see a lot of incredible potential? But as far as for the here and the now, with what we're looking at, it's going to be interesting to see who emerges the last half of the season.
And when I say that about Jackson Dart, here are the numbers. For the year, he's 14 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. That's fantastic.
Sure.
In SEC play, he has 2 touchdowns passing and 1 interception. That's it.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, absolutely. And look, we talked about Milroe a minute ago. I mean, he looked tremendous in the first half of the Georgia game, and after that has frankly been very average in a lot of ways. So
he was good at Wisconsin.
He was. But
that feels like a long time ago.
Sure it does. But it's been an interesting group. I mean, you certainly can't. I mean, but Peyton Thorne certainly had a moment or two, but he struggled mostly throughout. So
I'm sorry, I missed the moment, Brent. I haven't seen it.
Yeah. But it is. And Weekman's coming up a little bit. So right now, I mean, they're there. They're real talented, but nobody besides Beck a little bit has been that impressive. I mean, yours has had a few moments, but they haven't played anybody. And
Arch
Georgia
had his moments, but it was against lesser competition.
Yeah, that's true. So that's a to be determined, as the kids say.
Yes, it is. Over in the ACC, Brent, I'm curious. Miami gets another win, but it was a really, really good one against Louisville. That second half was a lot of fireworks. And then right behind them is Clemson. Clemson now 6-1. Their only loss on the season is that first week of the year against Georgia. Who's the better team right now in the ACC? Is it the undefeated Miami team, or is it this one-loss Clemson team?
Well, the Miami, I mean, the record looks great, but at the same time, they are, there's at least a couple of games that they could have lost.
Absolutely.
Obviously, the Virginia Tech game, throwing the ball into the end zone. And I think the disturbing thing was they beat, they won last week, but over Louisville. But I mean, Louisville stayed up with them. They kind of had a late touchdown to cut the gap. So, but I mean, Miami. I mean, they're in the driver's seat at this point. And listen, but I mean, my stars. Who would have thought Pitt would be where they are?
Okay, how many from the ACC? Yeah. Can they get 3 bids?
Maybe that's a really good question. And look, you've got SMU here now. I have some news. I'm just going by the rankings here.
Wait, SMU's in the ACC? I kid.
So is Cal and Stanford, but I still think there are a lot of people who hadn't realized that yet.
That's right.
For that matter, Boston College, we still hadn't realized it.
No, that's true.
Oh man, no, but yeah,
Pitt and Syracuse Thursday night's big.
that's a huge. I was just about to
It
mention
is.
that game, Brett.
It really, yeah, I agree with that totally. And look, people haven't really seen Pitt. Eli Holstein and Signetti and all that crew, they've done a really nice job. And then on Friday, you've got, to your point, you've got Louisville at Boston College. And boy, that 10 o'clock game, Rutgers at USC, would it surprise any of the three of us if Rutgers won at USC?
No, not at all.
And if y'all read the details on that game, they worked that out with Fox to have kind of Big Ten after dark, like Pac-12 after dark.
Yeah.
That's going to come on after the World Series game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, that's incredible. And by the way, I'm glad you brought up TV. I'm sure y'all have discussed this, but these numbers for Texas and Georgia, 13 million.
It's not even
Alabama,
real.
Tennessee, 10 million, and then the CBS 3:30 game last week, 3 million. But the SEC ABC numbers are staggering in some ways.
Yeah. No, they absolutely are. I mean, it's incredible the what they'll bring in. But it should be a really, really fun weekend. Some good games in both the SEC and the ACC. But Brent, as always, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you again next week.
And my last parting shot is Jasper, Alabama, being featured tonight on True South.
How about that?
Go Vikings.
It is just much watched television. In a lot of ways, the thriving town of 15,000 people, where Brent Beard grew up in
Walker County pride.
I'm going to be really fascinated to see what they may show. And I think they just do, help me on this, Brent, I think they do a lot of restaurants is what it amounts to, but
I've never watched.
Local flavor and things of that nature. So that'll be fascinating to see where that's going to go.
Yeah.
No shot at Jasper. It's a shot at that show. I'm going to go out and paint a fence tonight and watch the paint dry.
Yeah. Well, I know, and we all may be that way after 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Frankly. So
Now, a few weeks ago, I said they should feature the Green Top, but it's not at Jasper. It's at Dora, isn't it?
yeah. Well, it's still in Walker County.
Close enough. Close enough, by golly.
but listen, all the
it's like your cousin that gets famous. You get real kin to him.
It is. I just listen. I cannot tell you all the jokes about the Green Top when we were growing up.
I saw fisticuffs there in the parking lot after a Bama Tennessee game.
Wow.
I have absolutely no doubt about that. And listen, most of Jasper was dry for years, and everybody would run to the Green Top and get them, as they say.
And the beer came in those little bitty water glasses.
Yeah. They'd get them a Q and a brew over there, as they like to say. So, but I will say this: it was worth the trip over there because the barbecue sandwiches were terrific.
Sure was.
Wow, that sounds like good stuff. Brent, we'll talk to you again next week.
Thank you, Brother Beard.
Enjoy it, guys.
Thanks,
Take care.
Brent.
You got it, man.
Brent Beard joining us to talk some college football. But you are both right. I mean, those numbers, you look at them, and they're hard to fathom.
They really are. I don't know what the targets. I don't know at the upfronts what they promised advertisers. In various packages, but you got to feel like they're hitting their mark.
Oh, absolutely. No doubt about it.
And guess what? Rates going up next year.
Right. Yeah, sure are.
whenever it's renewal time. Brent made a good point about the Tennessee-Bama game, and it was won by the team that rushed the ball better. So here's the numbers through the playing date of October 19th. 66-15, the team that outrushes.
Okay.
That's 814 percentage. To win the passing battle, 57-24, so that's 703.
Okay.
In the American,
okay,
it applies in any league, but
absolutely.
American, I think you would stereotype is a little more pass happy.
Sure.
But even in the American, the numbers hold. In the American, it's 59-14, 808 rushing, 80%. I only promised 75.
That's right.
46-27, 630 passing.
Wow. That's good stuff, Brett. It's incredible. I mean,
it just works out.
It works.
At bowl time.
It's crazy.
You can do it. Well, over the 41 bowl games, I'll promise 75% will be won by the team that has the most yards rushing.
Yeah.
Now, you can nitpick at it and go, well, yeah, but you get ahead and you're salting the clock away. Yeah, you were ahead.
Mm-hmm. Yep. No, exactly. Yeah, I mean, that's the whole point, is you're ahead and run the ball.
That's the whole point.
Exactly.
That's the object.
Hilarious. I love that. But no, I always love hearing those numbers, and it just, every year, I mean, nothing changes. It's always the exact same.
There's never been one. I promise you, I've been charting it 40 years.
Yeah.
There's never been a single year that passing won over rushing, and one time it dipped to 73%, and I promised 75 on opening day.
Wow, that's incredible. That's incredible. But hey, we'll keep watching it. The run game, if you're gonna win, use that run game. Well, let me tell you something else that's incredible. It's what our friends over at Wilson's Pro Wash do. Do me a favor. Picture your house beautifully clean and pristine. Does that seem impossible to you? Well, not when you call Wilson's Pro Wash. Their Gentle Touch Pro Wash will restore your house, fence, driveway, commercial building, and more to their very best. Wilson specializes in cleaning all hard surfaces, from concrete to stone, brick to mortar, and even wood to vinyl siding. Then Wilson's can seal your surfaces so they stay looking brand new. Wilson's Pro Wash. Clean is their mission. They'll wash away everything but your sins, so give them a call at 901-524-6799. That's 901-524-6799, or visit them online at wilsonsprowash.com. We need to get to another break, and when we come back, we'll talk about what we learned from the weekend in college football and the NFL. We'll do that next on Sports Time.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Getaway Sports Bar, best kept secret in town, open noon to 1:30 a.m. 7 days a week. Garden, the creators, SEC NFL Dream Bar, over 20 years ago. You'll never miss a minute of action. 10 TVs, 5 70-inch TVs for all the big games. Come up on 6 pool tables. Coldest beer in town. Grab your pool stick and get you some more bar bar. 100 standards. Booking more chicken tenders. Daily happy hour Monday through Friday, 1 to 6 p.m. Long Meadows 1625. Getaway Sports Bar, 2632 Winchester.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
You're a contractor and you need concrete coating and supplies in Memphis fast, and you get this answer? I think we can order that stuff, but you're going to have to wait a few days for delivery. Why wait? Get your concrete coatings and supplies now at TSS Supply, where everything you need is in stock. If you're working in the tri-state Tennessee, Arkansas, Mississippi area, everything you need for concrete coating is at TSS Supply, 5665 East Rains Road, Memphis. TSS Supply specializes only in concrete coatings and supplies, all in one place. If you're looking for a particular item, need large quantities, or just have general questions, call 901-729-0000. 729-0565, or you can email your question to Brad at tsssupply.com. The friendly, knowledgeable folks at TSS Supply have over 150 years combined experience in concrete coatings, materials, and supplies. Contractors, are you in town for a job or getting ready to do a job for a customer during their holiday shutdown? Then you should visit TSS Supply for your concrete coatings and supplies. Why wait for materials when TSS Supply has everything you need in stock and they can get it to you today or within 24 hours? TSS Supply, 5665 East Rains Road.
Don't do it.
Don't do what?
Don't do another Halloween spot for Central Barbecue.
But it's October. Doing a Halloween spot for Central Barbecue is a tradition.
But it doesn't make it a good thing.
Nothing else happens in October.
Baseball?
Not if you're a Cardinals fan. What else you got?
National Candy Corn Day.
No Central Barbecue connection.
Fair point. How about Make a Difference Day?
That's to encourage people to do something constructive for the world.
And going to Central Barbecue isn't?
I'm telling you, it's got to be Halloween.
There's no other choice, I guess.
Hey, Zeke.
Yeah?
This year, give the kiddies ribs on Halloween. They love that.
Seriously, next year, something new.
I'm telling you right now, Mid-South, if you're looking for a new ride, give Bobby J a call today at Gossett Kia on the Pike. He's the man with the plan. 41 MPG, Bobby's got it in new 2024 Kia Forte LXS. $233.86 a month, $34.99 to its signing. 2025 Kia Sportage, $269 a month, $34.99 to its signing. And get holiday ready in 2024 Kia. Tell your ride S. $408.62 a month, $39.99 to its signing, all 24-month lease. Plus, you always get peace of mind with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Call Bobby J. He's ready to put you in your new Kia today. That's Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online, KiaCovingtonPike.com. If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars. Lease $650 acquisition fee, 20 cents excess mileage, Forte RE 834,938, MSRP 22,615, Telluride RG 56,3000, MSRP 40,805, Sportage S73 40278, MSRP 29,135, includes all rebates and incentives, must finance through Hyundai, excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/31/2024 with approved credit, dealer stock only.
Grizz Nation, join John, Jared, Dez, and your Memphis Grizzlies for opening night this Saturday at 7 p.m. Arrive early for the pregame plaza party, and the first 10,000 fans receive a Grizzlies Classic reversible bucket hat. Secure your tickets today at Grizzlies.com.
Sports 56 traffic.
Between Macklemore and South Parkway in this construction zone. So give yourself a little bit of extra time over here. It's just started to slow down within the last 30 minutes or so in this construction zone as it builds out of Midtown. 240 is still a little bit busy as you work your way down past Norris. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64 is your full-service family-owned jewelry store here in Memphis. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
I'm back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you, and we got to talk about what we learned from the weekend in college football and the NFL. So, Brett, why don't you start us off with college?
I'll start in college, and I will. It's the obvious. The honeymoon not only is over, but it has crashed and burned for Kalen DeBoer.
Oh, man.
You think of the high of Georgia. That if the honeymoon, that would be when people are throwing the rice bag,
right,
not the bags,
yes,
but
yes.
the rice at the bride.
Right.
Everything's going great, and then it has happened, and it has come to a crashing halt. My second one, Tennessee, they're back.
Yeah.
The standard for when Tennessee would be back would be success over Florida and Bama, and they've had it. They sure had it this year in back-to-back weeks at home, beat them both, and now ranked 7th, open date at a good time. Out of the open date, at home against Kentucky, at home against Mississippi State, then on the road to Georgia, and then home against UTEP and at Vandy. They can factor in a loss to Georgia and still make the college football playoffs by winning the rest. And they'll be heavily favored in all of them.
Absolutely.
My final one from college football, what I know, Notre Dame versus Navy this week, and then open for Notre Dame, home against Florida State, home against UVA, home against Army, at Southern Cal. Even with that loss to Northern Illinois, Notre Dame can win out and easily be in the college football playoff and probably be the 5 seed.
Yeah.
That's as high as they can be. They could even lose to USC and still squeeze in as the 11. It's Notre Dame.
Yeah, no, it's a good point.
When we release that bracket, we're releasing a TV show as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's it's a good point. All right, for me, for college football, my first one, Kentucky has missed on back-to-back quarterbacks. I mean, the quarterback situation at Kentucky has not been very good at all. Last year, it was Devin Leary who really couldn't get anything together, had a 56.3 completion percentage with Kentucky last year. Now, Brock Vandagriff, all the offseason hype about him, the former 5-star prospect, what he could do at Kentucky with this offense, he's not looked good at all, only 57.6% percent completion rate, 7.1 yards per pass, and 6 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. And I thought, I kind of tried to do some digging. Maybe it's the offensive line. Some offensive line's been fine. I mean, only got sacked one time against Florida. Not very good.
I think the receivers are fine.
I don't know what it is for it
Brown
to be back-to-back.
are fine.
Yeah, but it just has not worked out the past 2 quarterbacks
It worked
at
with
Kentucky.
Will Levis. They've missed on the last 2. That's a good one.
They absolutely have. Number 2 for me, and I know hindsight 2020, but we were saying this before the season started, Brett. There was no reason other than the fact that they had just won the national championship that Michigan should have been a preseason top 10 team. When you look, and I don't think it's anything wrong to not have them preseason top 10 because of what they lost. They lost Harbaugh. I mean, a great head coach. You're replacing him with a guy that had never been a head coach before, and then you lose so many weapons on that offense. You lose your starting quarterback. You lose your starting running back. You lose a couple linemen. There was just no reason for them to be a preseason number 10 team, and now it's showing another loss to a top 25 team, and they just were not competitive against Illinois. Then my third and final one, Vanderbilt is here, finally cracking the top 25, and I hope they are here in Memphis in December at the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. There's definitely a chance for them to be a team that's in the mix for that, and I would love for them to be in town and get to go see our guy Diego Pavia.
Fill out full Liberty Bowl for me. Vandy versus who from the Big 12?
Oh, I have no
got
idea.
Good options.
You've got really good options. I mean, the Big 12's been competitive this year. I have no clue.
Kenny Dillingham?
That'd be great. I mean, I would love if they got bowl eligible. I'd love Arizona State to be in.
And
there.
if you're ever going to have Arizona State,
Sure.
they've never appeared in the Liberty Bowl. If you're ever going to have them,
Yeah.
with Vandy would sell
Sure.
the limited seating and the construction
Yeah.
years
Sure.
out. So you got your what tickets are available. You got them sold, I think, through the Vandy and the local connection. So you wouldn't be as dependent on Arizona State as you would be if you're depending on them to sell 20,000 tickets.
Sure, that's a really good point. I'd be definitely down for that.
And I had Colorado in the preseason. They're gonna blow through.
Yes, they are.
They're going to be in a lot better bowl than. I'm trying to look at the rest of the Big 12 because I think in that Liberty Bowl language, after the college football playoffs are set, I think they get the 4th team available.
Interesting.
It's not assigned to them like
Sure.
SEC assigns, and that could be from a pool right now of anybody. Arizona State, TCU, West Virginia, Arizona even. If Baylor improved a little, I guess UCF is still at 3 and 4 could be in that mix.
Cincinnati could be in there. I mean, they're a good mix of teams.
Yeah.
Good mix of teams. That'd be great. For the NFL now, I'll start us off with my 3 takeaways from the NFL. My first one, the Jets have no hope this season. I think, they make the change at head coach, and I think there were still a lot of people, holding out hope of a coaching change, and then you get Devontae Adams, maybe something happens.
Do you still have Aaron Rodgers as one of the big 4 Jets of all time?
Yes, Brett, I do.
And they have, no
Brett,
hope
I
with
do.
one of the big 4.
Yes, Brett, I do. Yes,
Okay.
but they have
Okay.
no hope. Look,
Understood.
this is the retirement tour for them. It's like
The Jets were signing up for more than retirement tour.
that's a great point, Brett. But you look at this, it's retirement tour. I mean, this is the last act. I mean, this is Elton John out there. I mean, I don't know. Name your
Billy
singer,
Joel?
Billy Joel. I mean, these
EJ
retirement
and BJ?
tours the retirement tours that feel like they're never going to end. That's what Aaron Rodgers is on right now for the Jets, and it's just not working out this year. And there is, after seeing what happened against the Steelers, they have absolutely no hope at all. My second one. The Lions control the NFC. I mean, here we are, Lions. Your Lions, Brett. They look so good. That game against
I don't think Darian
Minnesota,
appreciates that enough.
I don't
My
think so.
Lions.
I don't think so. But that's okay. That's all right. You know, he doesn't have to appreciate it. Me and Darian will.
I want Darian's approval.
Well, yeah, I think he's more focused on me this week because his 49ers got to go up against my Cowboys, and
Cowboys said they wanted that rematch.
Revenge, Brett.
Wait till next year.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Oh, the
Hey,
microphone
it's
running
all
away from
in
you,
good
dude.
fun until the first blow is thrown, right?
Well, I guess so, yes.
It's all fun and games. Somebody
right.
gets a black eye.
That's absolutely right.
You know?
But the Lions are for real, and they are in control right now in the NFC. My last one, this Washington Commanders team. I think people had questions about them before the season.
Ooh, that's
what
really
will they
good
do?
That's a really good one.
They have one of the best offenses in the NFL. I know they just went up
Looks
against
like
the
Joe
Lions.
Gibbs is back coaching.
Oh, man. I mean,
Handing
they
it
are
to
fun
Big
to watch.
John Riggins.
Yep, they're fun to watch. And it's hard for me to say that as a Cowboys fan. But
How hurt is Jaden Daniels, the rib?
That's a good question. And that's definitely, I mean, if he's out, that changes
yes,
a ton.
it does.
It changes everything because he's been fantastic.
But it doesn't change that defensive front, though.
And it's been really good. It's been really good.
All right, mine from the NFL, the Titans. Let me make sure I have this right. They really traded Derrick Henry and A.J. Brown, and they really fired Mike Vrabel. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, boy, they're paying.
Yeah.
Rand Carthon, you better make some magic next year because they've moved on from GMs quickly.
Yep. No, they have. You're right.
And the cruel GM world of the NFL, it's not like basketball and to a degree baseball used to be that there's a kind of retread. You get about one crack at it in the NFL.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You better make a couple with success.
Sure.
You'll get more. But you get one crack at it if it fails, and it's failing for Rand Carthon. My next from the NFL that I know, best quarterback in the NFL right now is on my Lions, Jared Goff, 88% completion rate. He only has 36 incompletions all season through 6 games. That's six a game. He's got 4 picks. He threw it to the wrong team 4 times, but only 36 incompletions all year. And finally, for me, and sadly, because I thought he should have been the Heisman winner at Clemson, his last year at Clemson. But it's over for Deshaun Watson, not just in Cleveland with the Achilles injury. I think his career's over. Between now being injured and he's just simply had lost it.
Yeah.
And how did that happen? That much stuff off the field, did that really derail that promising career? Remember how good he was with the Texans?
Oh, I mean, Brett, we were talking about future Hall of Famer and future, great quarterback. And, yeah, it's taken a sharp turn the other direction.
Just announced by the SEC at the SEC Championship game at Mercedes-Benz Stadium on Saturday, December 7th. They will have the SEC legends, each school with a legend. When it first started, it was living legends, but now it can be from players from the past or the recent past. And I'm going to go alphabetically, and it's Alabama and their SEC legend, Barrett Jones.
Oh, wow. That is awesome. That's great.
3-time All-American. Arkansas, Memphian, from Fraser High, Kent Hamlin. Auburn, Marcus McNeil. Florida, Rex Grossman. Georgia, Terrence Edwards. Kentucky, Dickie Lyons Sr. I know a lot of people remember Dickie Lyons from just a few years ago, but Dickie Lyons Sr. that played in the 60s. LSU, Andrew Whitworth. From Ole Miss, my favorite player on the Ole Miss crew in my 17 years, Dexter McCluster. From Mississippi State, from Yazoo City, Fletcher Cox. From Mizzou, Chase Daniel. Any quarterback with a beer gut you had to love.
That's right.
Oklahoma, Barry Switzer from Crossett, Arkansas. South Carolina, Corey Miller. Tennessee, Eric Berry. What a story. Texas, Vince Young. Texas A&M, Luke Jekyll. And from Vanderbilt, Ricky Anderson.
Wow. That's a great list.
Way to go, Barry Switzer.
Oh, man, that's awesome.
87 years young.
I love that. That's awesome. That's great. That was just announced today?
Just right now.
Wow.
The
Oh, wow.
release just
Wow.
went out.
How about that? That's awesome. I love that. Good for Barrett Jones. I mean,
And at that game, so let's say it's let's say it's Texas and Georgia
Sure.
when Luke Jekyll gets introduced.
Oh, man.
Here come the boos.
Oh, man.
and I can't remember who the Ole Miss legend was in '98 when State was in the game. Who was it? But I saw him at an event on Friday night. I said, get ready. You're going to really catch it tomorrow night when you get introduced.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And if Georgia's in there, who all is Georgia mad at? They're mad at Tennessee. They're mad at Florida. They're mad at Bama. They'll just boo everybody.
That's
if
right.
they're in there.
Just, go down the list. Every single person there that's not Georgia, they'll boo. But hey, that's what it all is about. No, that's awesome. That's a really, really good
Way to
list.
go, Barrett.
Way to go. That's awesome. I love that. But let's go ahead and get to another break. And when we come back, we'll get to big number of the day.
Need good food fast? You need 901 Eats to Go in Bartlett. Meat in two sides. Chicken wings and tenders, cheeseburger, Philly cheesesteak, even catfish, plus sides and drinks. 901 Eats to Go has everything you want when you want it at prices you can afford. Call 901-417-8232. Pick up DoorDash, Uber Eats, or online at 901eats.com. That's Eats with a Z. Delicious and convenient. 901 Eats to Go. 3135 Kirby Wooden Road in Bartlett. Good food fast.
It's here, Genesis Diamond's largest ever sale on luxury pre-owned Rolex watches. It's introduced today. If you've ever dreamed of wearing a Rolex, you can't miss this special two-day event this Friday and Saturday. During this event, you can take advantage of special pricing and zero interest financing on a stunning selection of luxurious pre-owned Rolex timepieces. We've got hundreds of Volts, Submariners, Daytonas, Pepsis, the hottest model Rolex watches that you can't find anywhere else. All of our luxury pre-owned Rolexes are in pristine, light new condition, some just out of the box, and all priced to sell at this event. Listen to this: with the purchase of any luxury pre-owned Rolex at this event, Genesis will give you a pair of 2-carat lab-grown diamond stud earrings for free. That's a $3,000 value. And listen up, Rolex owners, our pre-owned Rolex buyers are on site offering top dollar for your Rolex. Come see the largest selection of luxury Rolex watches in the state and take advantage of special financing. Plus, get a pair of 2-carat lab-grown diamond stud earrings free. It's this Friday and Saturday only. You're at Genesis Diamonds on Poplar and Perkins Extended.
Family Leisure is having the world's biggest spa set, and it's happening right now. You can save thousands on in-stock hot tubs that are ready to be delivered. Family Leisure has spas that start at just $28.99. You know those cold plunges? You can get one for yourself starting at $39.99. Or how about swim spas? They start at $17,499. Plus, Family Leisure has set up special financing just for this event. Have you been sitting on the fence about an above-ground pool? Get off that fence and get to Family Leisure to take advantage of huge discounts on all their in-stock above-ground pools. And if you need some patio furniture, it's all priced to move out now. It's not too late to have some summer fun, courtesy of Family Leisure. But you better hurry up. The world's biggest spa sale might go on forever. Family Leisure. Whitten Road at I-40. Family and fun come together.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If
If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code YEAR to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code YEAR for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code YEAR for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Hi, this is Lauren Choate, Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, Plumbing, and Generators. Right now, we're offering our Choate's Comfort and Safety Special. For a limited time, when you purchase a $99 tune-up, or if Choate's performs a repair, you'll receive a free 1-year standard fan plan membership at $400 value. Keep your home safe, comfortable, and running smoothly all year long with 2 maintenance visits, priority service, and discounts on future repairs. And for our existing loyal fan plan members, we have something special just for you. Enjoy a $1,000 loyalty coupon toward any new generator, tankless water heater, or HVAC system. It's our way of saying thank you for trusting us with your home. Add value, add comfort, and add safety to your home with Choates. Call us today at 347-8086 or visit ChoatesHVAC.com. Choates, let our family serve your family.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 95
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
Well, Brett, I'll start us off with my big number of the day, and it is the number 349, and it comes from the NFL, the second game last night on Monday Night Football. It's how many passing yards Justin Herbert had last night. He was really good, 349 yards. He's 27 for 39, only sacked 3 times in that game as well. But how about this nugget from OptaStats? Justin Herbert threw for 349 yards and had a 97.1 passer rating last night. No other quarterback in NFL history has thrown for that many yards with that high of a passer rating and yet had his team fail to score an offensive touchdown and lose the game. All 15 of the Charger points last night coming from field goals. That Charger team just could not find the end zone, and ultimately it's what led to their loss, with the Cardinals being able to drive down the field. That last possession got helped out by a unnecessary roughness call that gave them a first down when it should have been 3rd and 10, and they're able to hit a field goal and keep the ball. There were people questioning should they go for it and try, or should the Chargers just let them score and try to get the ball back and drive down the field. But ultimately, Cardinals sit on the ball the last minute or so and line up for a field goal and win it.
You give Harbaugh 2 years and get a little help in there with Herbert, and he will be the superstar everybody expects him to be. He's already been good. My big number is 20. Yesterday, the big number was 10 for the 10 undefeated teams in college football. Today, it is 20 for the 21 lost teams in college football, and that includes the Memphis Tigers.
Oh, wow.
Last week of October, and the Tigers have 1 loss.
Yeah.
We used to do handstands for that.
Oh, 100%.
Let's appreciate this team a little more.
Absolutely.
They're going to end October with 1 loss. They're blasting Charlotte.
Yes,
Saturday.
they are.
They're going to start November play with 1 loss.
Yeah, 100%. And it's incredible. And you're right. Just not a lot of appreciation for this team.
So I got a text in '98 when I was talking about the Ole Miss player being booed. It was Archie Manning, and the Mississippi State fans were letting him have it. But Tennessee was in the game, Now, Peyton was a rookie in the NFL, but Tennessee was on the way to winning the national championship
Yeah.
with T. Martin, and they rallied behind him and drowned out State booing him.
That's hilarious.
A friend of mine just texted, and that is accurate. I remember now.
Interesting.
So a lot of different loyalties on that night, and a lot of fun. I wonder if this year you could have in back-to-back weeks Texas and Texas A&M playing the regular season game and the SEC championship game.
You definitely could. I haven't thought about that possibility, but
boy, they'll really let the legend have it.
Whoa, yeah, that would get
A&M
crazy.
had a chance to get that out at Vince Young in a while.
Man, forget Army Navy back to back. You get Texas and A&M back to back.
What if we got them both? Would that be
better.
fun? Would that be good?
I think it'd be fun. I mean,
take it however it falls.
Chaos, right? Brett, you know me well enough. I love chaos. I
don't mind chaos.
Yeah, chaos is great. So give it to me.
I don't mind it at all. But we're already in the middle of a great college football season, and now 8 weeks down, 6 to go, and you just imagine how much fun they're going to be at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. Head down Highway 78. When you cross into Mississippi, your first exit, Kraft Goodman Road, and you're there where the Chevy truck season sale is going on right now in Olive Branch at All-Star. Financing as low as 0% now available on all the new 24 Silverados. No payment till next year. Doesn't that sound great? Just worry about it in 2025. Your Silverado can be payment-free through Christmas and New Year. Your good credit deserves it, and you'll get it at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch, where all the new Chevy Silverados and Tahoes are. Incentives at All-Star on new Equinox that you can get your price down in the 30s, even the 20s. If you're a law enforcement, first responder, healthcare worker, military educator, recent grad, you get an instant extra $500 bonus back. Head to All-Star and check out and I'm talking huge, All-Star pre-owned section. All the vehicles you can imagine, every brand, like Ford SUVs, Toyotas, Nissan, Jeeps, Silverados. Every pre-owned you want is at All-Star in Olive Branch. And if you've got a vehicle you want to sell, bring it to All-Star, whether you bought it there or not, and that's where you'll get the best deal for it. Together, let's drive to All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. Don't miss the final Chevy truck season sale going on now in Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet. For more information, go to allstarautogroup.com.
Well, we talked about what we learned from the NFL in the last segment, so let's stick with the NFL, get to a quick break, and when we come back to start our third and final hour, Bo Marchant, he joins us every single week to talk the NFL. He's going to join us. We'll talk about what happened Sunday and last night in those games. We'll also get his thoughts on Tua. It sounds like he's returning to practice, getting ramped up to return to the field for the Miami Dolphins. We'll talk about all of that and more next on Sports Time.
When you think about insurance and you want great value without sacrificing great service, I want you to think one place: the Eflin Insurance and the entire Eflin Insurance team. Matt and his group of professionals will access 10 leading companies to find the right home and auto program that fits your budget and your absolute needs. The Eflin Insurance team, the number 386-GER, 386-4777.
You've heard of James Gaddis Jewelers, but have you heard what they've done lately? Everything. A tremendous selection of diamonds and jewels, gold, silver, and much more. Lots of watches, tons of custom-made jewelry, fine gemstones, bracelets, necklaces, so many choices. Romantics will love the one-of-a-kind estate and vintage jewelry. James Gaddis has experts to help you with wedding and engagement rings, plus 2 repair experts for fine watches and jewelry. Layaway and financing available. James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. When you use Angie for your home projects, you know all your jobs will be done well. Roof repair? Done well. Kitchen sink install? Done well. Deck upgrades? Done well. Electrical upgrade? Done well. Angie's been connecting homeowners with skilled pros for nearly 30 years, so we know the difference between done and done well. Hire high-quality certified pros at Angie.com.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
Hi, this is Dave Woloshin. Tune into my show Wednesday, October the 23rd. We're going to do something a little different. We're going to donate most of the show to talk about Alzheimer's. The annual Walk to End Alzheimer's is coming up Saturday, October the 26th at Shelby Farms, and we're going to try to raise a little extra money for the cause. We'll be selling a Penny Hardaway autographed basketball, a Ryan Silverfield autographed football, tickets to the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, and many other great items. Please tune in and help us raise money for Alzheimer's Wednesday, October 23rd. Thank you.
Memphis's original sports station. We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Still some heavy traffic over here at times trying to get out of the Midtown area on 240 southbound near South Parkway. We've had a couple of wrecks down through there this afternoon. 55 still running slow northbound, trying to get between McLemore and South Parkway. If that sounds familiar, that's trying to get up through that construction zone on 55 going northbound. Give yourself a little extra time. That's been pretty sluggish up through there for the last hour or so. Traffic's increasing to 40 over here at Poplar. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64 is your full-service, family-owned jewelry store right here in Memphis. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Brian Dacus.
You say you stand by your man. Tell me something I don't understand. You said you love me, and that's a fact.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios. It's a Tuesday. We got to talk the NFL as it's officially complete for the week with 2 games last night on Monday Night Football. He joins us every Tuesday on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. Let's go ahead and get to Bo Marchant.
National Football League talk every Tuesday with Bo Marchant, covering the NFL Draft at collegetopro.com and the NFL Draft Bible, covering the Steelers for Sports Illustrated, living and running in Eastern Ohio, and on Twitter X at Bo Marchant. Here's Bo with Bryant and Brett.
Bo Marchant joins us now to talk the NFL. Bo, thanks so much for joining us. And I guess let's start off with the game that you were at Sunday for the Jets versus the Steelers in Pittsburgh. Jets came in as a favorite after acquiring Davante Adams, but it was all Steelers in that game. Russell Wilson made his first start after really as the week progressed, it seemed more and more likely that he would start. What were some of your takeaways from Russell Wilson's first start, the Steelers, what their offense did, and then on the other side, the Jets, it feels like maybe some hope with the Davante Adams trade, but that was quickly taken away with that loss.
Yeah, there was some shaky ground at the beginning. The Boo Birds were out, and I think that was a little bit of the residue of fans still kind of, wanting Justin Fields to be the guy that they're going to move forward with. But I think by the second half, as he started to push the ball down the field and the receivers and the team started to kind of get acclimated together, you could kind of see the shift. And for me, I've been covering this team a long time, and my story, in terms of passes, they were pushing the ball upfield, and I think it's something they wouldn't have even done with Fields in the game. And it goes back to, managing the game is great, but excelling at the game is even better. And I think that's where the Steelers are with Wilson after one game. This was the guy that they wanted from the get-go. And I thought it was a resounding win. I really did. I thought it was for me, watching this team and seeing how dysfunctional that offense has been without Ben Roethlisberger since he's retired. I thought that was the first time I saw something that, looked professional. And I mean that a lot, because you're talking about a team where 13-9, 10-9, 16-7. I mean, these are the type of games that they got into. And they were able to kind of manhandle the Jets. And the defense came up with undrafted Beanie Bishop with a couple important INTs, and they fed off each other. A well-balanced game, defense, special teams, and offense for that win for the Steelers the other night.
Bo, we were close to giving up on Najee Harris. He's been effective the last few weeks.
The last few weeks he has been effective. I'm still not there yet, but then as I was watching the game, and I've been very harsh on his yards per carry, but will never question his work ethic and what he puts into it behind the scenes. It kind of hit me that, poor Najee has been getting fed the ball, but he's really never had a lot of, help in terms of, hey, are the Steelers going to be able to pass on this play? You kind of know it's 8 men in the box. You could put 9 men in the box, 10, 11 men in the box, because the ball's not going to be going downfield. So he proved, being a valuable commodity, the last-minute touchdown, just to kind of put the icing on the cake. And it was a good win. I'm really Tomlin doesn't usually, he said Beanie Bishop was excellent. He really complimented Russell Wilson, and he's usually pretty, most head coaches are pretty vague in terms of specific praise for individuals. But I think he was a happy camper. And again, one game, but again, the Jets are a good team. I mean, the defense was, they had their struggles the other night, but that was kind of the thing that you had to hang your hat on if you're a New York Jets fan. It was the offense coming around as they've kind of, slipped to 2-5. But now the defense kind of got embarrassed the other night. And still with Aaron Rodgers, I was, watching that game, and there's so much concern about, Russell Wilson and number 3. I think the big concern is number 8 for the Jets, and what are they going to do with this guy, because he doesn't look crisp. There's just no fluidity to the way that he's been playing the quarterback position with them, and it's all going to go with and without him, and he's going to have to get better for the Jets to kind of get out of this slump.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely, and I think that's the biggest thing is he just has not been very good this year. But yeah, I just don't feel like they have any hope the rest of the season. We had 2 really big games that it felt like stood out from the rest of the pack on Sunday going into it. It was that noon slate. It was the Lions-Vikings game. And then in that afternoon slate, it was the Chiefs and 49ers game. But I want to start with this Lions-Vikings game. Both teams coming in playing red hot. Vikings run defeated. Lions only 1 loss on the season. It came down to a last-second field goal by the Lions to win that. It feels like the Lions are in control of the NFC right now. Is that how you kind of feel going into week number 8?
Yeah, I think we're all going to concede that the Lions are the team, mm-hmm. and it's going to be that way just because of Sam Darnold, and not that if J.J. McCarthy was starting, or even if they still had Kirk Cousins, I think would we derail from that idea that the Lions are the best team. They could be the best team in the National Football League, but I think the Vikings proved this past week, despite losing, that they're in the same class, that they can compete. And you might have thought this was the game where they kind of implode, and the Vikings, who we think they might be, they got they come to show. But I thought how many points? I know they had a big fourth quarter, and they really put that game back in their favor towards the end of that game. And again, Jake Bates, big kick at the end to get them through, the kind of the walk-off homer, if you will. And I just thought it was a great game, 2 high-caliber teams. And this whole NFC North, the Packers are right there. You got the Bears at 4-2. It's crazy to think that it's going to be this competitive. And, the middle of the season, it's hard to discount any of those teams. I mean, I know we're going to have our questions about the Bears, but, I mean, the Packers, seems like when they're hot, and this is kind of foolish to say, but when they're hot and they're playing like this and Jordan Love's playing that way, I put them on they can beat anybody out there, especially the Vikings or the Lions. So this is going to be one fun division to watch down the stretch. Right now, you got to say, yes, the Lions, just because of what they've done in the past and the way they've been able to kind of play this year, too. You got to say, hey, they're the favorite. But right now, I think that division is still wide open despite, the 5-1, and you got the Vikings at 5-1, and then you got the Bears and Packers sitting right behind them.
Bo, I'll add in. I agree with Brian on those two games. I'll add a third. I thought Packers-Texans was played at a real high level. That's teams that can be around late January for conference AFC, NFC championship games, and maybe in New Orleans for Super Bowl 59.
Yeah, I would not disagree with you. Like, and again, hard-fought game. But I do, Nico Collins is a big miss for the Texans, but they're going to still get by, and they were still in that game. It wasn't like they were blown out by any stretch of the imagination. So, a good slate of football. I even thought last night. I thought the Ravens-Bucks game was a little bizarre. There was a point where it seemed like the Buccaneers should have been winning 17-0, but they were losing 14-10, and it really took me a while to get it. And then I really appreciated what Jonathan Gannon did with the Cardinals last year and some of the big wins they had, and to see them scrapping with this Chargers team and shutting down Herbert and company, and I thought that was a big win. Drive down the field, and Ryland's had his problems released by the Patriots and kind of shuffled off here and there as a kicker, and he's been filling out for Prater. So a big game winning field goal. I thought that was a big win. So a great week of football. I thought we've been talking about all these games. We haven't even mentioned the two teams that met in the Super Bowl last year. That shows you how much quality of games we had last week.
Yep.
And we kind of do that to Kansas City, and way back at 3:15 in our top stories of the day, I was talking about look at Kansas City. They just keep on keeping on undefeated. Real quickly, back to the Texans. This is not a knock. It was just such a great year last year for him. C.J. Stroud, the league catching up to him. What is it? Because he's been good this year, but it hadn't been as good as last year.
No, it hasn't. But I think it goes back to how much Nico Collins matters to that team getting vertical. I mean, Joe Mixon was potent, over 100 yards, a couple touchdowns. So the ground game was definitely in play. I just think Nico Collins is that type of caliber player. And people can say Diggs, but Diggs isn't the guy that he was. And this is a Nico Collins offense. That's why I gave him the big money. And I think you'll see that those numbers kind of get back to where he was last year once Collins comes back. But I do agree, the way he was setting the league on fire last year, we haven't seen that C.J. Stroud yet. And I think it'll come around. And maybe, I'm sure they've figured some things out. Once they get tape on you and they find a way how to diminish something you do well, I mean, they're all going to try to execute that same plan. But I think that's easier than said than done. I think when Collins comes back, I think we'll see a better Stroud, which it's just hand-in-hand response. But I think Stroud, you're right, hasn't been the guy that we saw last year, but I think that's kind of just the team around him not having that big featured guy in Nico Collins who's been hurt the last couple games.
Mm-hmm. Talking about Marshawn, he joins us every single Tuesday to talk the NFL, and the reports came out earlier, I guess early Monday, that Tua was going to be returning to practice this week and returning to the field for the Miami Dolphins. He had a press conference where he kind of talked about his decision to return this season, not wait till next year to return. He was also asked if he was going to wear a Guardian cap moving forward as he comes back. He said he would not, that it was a personal decision of his not to wear one of those. What do you make of Tua returning this quick and this year to the quarterback position for Miami?
Well, he obviously must be feeling better. And on the flip side, we know that he's very concussion prone, and it could happen on any play. It could happen to any player on any play, but he's more prone. We know that for a fact. We've seen it in his history. And now, as a person with a soul, you just hope this guy, doesn't get to the point where it really affects him down the road. He's going to suit up until they can't tell him to suit up. I have no problem with that. I run every day, and I've done things not on, I know there's probably been days where I should have never even attempted to do what I do, but I'm obsessed with it, and he's obsessed with the game of football. So, the not wearing the Guardian cap, and even after it happened, I'm like, why isn't this being brought up? And I talked to Miles Killebrew during the training camp because, the players were wearing them during practice, and he kind of joked around. He said, listen, he goes, it's just a hideous-looking thing. So he more joked around that it's the style of it, and it just doesn't fit. And he said it is a little bulky, and, he said once you have it on, it's something that you don't think about, but he said it is something that you do think about when it's on, on top of you. So, but under his circumstances, I would, if I was the family of Tua, I'm not, but if I was that I'd be like, hey, you can do whatever you want, but you're going to wear the guard. You're going to at least add some sort of protection. I even think the Dolphins would almost want to demand that he do that. But hey, it's his choice. I just wish that he doesn't have those setbacks again, because it's just a scary thing. And we know with CTS and all this stuff down the road, this might not be something that happens next year or next week, but 10 years down the road, God forbid that we're hearing horrific stories that he's starting to get a little off. That we've heard all these other stories of other former players, kind of how they've when it happened, it kind of went off the rails a little bit.
I don't like that football always gets blamed for everything, but it certainly has to have some responsibility. In this case, I'm bringing up, and I would have Tua do this. I would have him watch Steve McMichael at the Hall of Fame. Just watch the profiles done on Steve McMichael, and that doesn't mean everybody's going to end up like that. And we don't know that football caused all that. Again, for ALS, it's about a 58% male to female malady. 58% male, 42% female. Well, we know the 42% female didn't play football, so it can't all be the blame on football.
Fair enough. Great point. Listen, I've said it 1,000 times. This is the one injury that you can fake, you can get out of it. In prior years, we know guys played concussed and all these things, and when you're last night, Godwin dislocated ankle. He can't fake himself to get on the field next week. A concussion, guys can fake, and they do. And they do, and it's more monitored now, and they do everything they can. But on the flip side, players do everything they can, and I'm not speaking for, but we know they want to play. They want to play, and this is the one thing where you can say, all right, you know what, I don't feel that bad, or it's not bothering me, but it may be, But when you're, ACL, that when your collarbone's broke, it's broke. But this is the one thing that you can kind of get on the field, even if you have the symptoms or are concussed. But listen, this is one of these things we'll never be able to get away with, because it's exactly what it is. It happens, and the severity of it towards different people and the lasting, lingering things that can happen to those specific players, we won't know for years to come. In the moment, we know Chris Godwin's out. We know Rashee Rice is out. We know those type of things. Michael Evans, he has a hamstring, 3 to 4 weeks. The concussion, we don't know how long it'll linger long term, and the significance of repeated hits, what that will do. But with that said, I just hope Tua returns. And I've been, there's all this MVP talk. If there's anybody that should be MVP of the league, it's Tua, because without him, you talk about a team just in complete distress, zero offense. And it's amazing to think that Tua, and we don't give him that much credit. You just think, well, probably any quarterback can go down there and throw the Waddle and Tyreek Hill. But we've come to see, since he's been out of that lineup, the Dolphins are awful offensively, and it just shows you how important Tua is to that team, especially that offense.
I had him as my preseason MVP. I'm sorry I jinxed him like that with the injuries. Bo Marchand, our guest on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. And when we introduce you every week, we have the loop running. It says living and running in Eastern Ohio. You live in Youngstown. You cover the Steelers in Western PA. And on Saturday, I want you to tell our listeners how the nice treatment you got at the hometown university at Youngstown State game at your designated spot in the media, how they had it designated for you.
Yeah, well, I was doing my Blue Bombers work, and arrived at Stan Boss Stadium, and Trevor Parks, their ID, he's the guy. And when I went, and if you go into press box, it'll say, your name and, whatever affiliation you're with. And I saw my name, and I expected to see Winnipeg Blue Bombers on it, but he had one run streak day, 9-7-8-7, and
that's awesome.
He goes, "Is that the right day?" And I said, "Trevor, I love you." And I said, he goes, "Well, I didn't want to jinx it or something." And I go, "No," but it did. It made, and it kind of, it's fun because it's just that family. Sure. It's still a local team, but it's still the fun part of having relationships and people. Like us, we text on the side. It's just not a show where you come on for 20 minutes talk football. I know when Brett's mom passed away, we spoke at length off the phone a couple times, and just those type of things. So there's more than just talking football, and I think him doing that is kind of resonates that friendship, that bond where, yeah, we're all here for the game, but there's a lot that goes on absent of just X's and O's.
But well said. So very well said. And I thought of you all weekend, and then on Sunday with the Steelers homecoming reunion weekend, and those legends just one after another being rolled out. And the two great pieces you wrote at collegetopro.com, one on Rocky Bleier and his family and the great Rocky Bleier story. And one time at a Super Bowl, I had him on, and I told him, you got to wear 3 great uniforms in your life. The uniform of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the United States Army.
Yes, sir. Yeah. A fantastic guy. Very energetic, very welcoming. Is excited to talk to and share his stories. I told my wife the next day, because I didn't get home till late that night, but, I said, yeah, I go, it's nothing like having Rocky Bleier. I go, and the whole time we talked, I go, he had his hands on my shoulders, and he was kind of, in my face.
He's very aggressive.
Yeah. Yeah, and, he was it was, I almost felt like he was my great uncle or something. Like, that's how close. And he talked to me for so long that they were getting ready for a Legends photo. And Angela, one of the PR girls from the Steelers, she said, Bo, are you done? Are you almost done? I go, and she goes, we're waiting for you. And that's how engaging Rocky was. That, he was just, going on and telling me about his granddad who, beat up a Raider fan back in the day, and that was the type of guy he is. And,
man, don't mess with the Bleiers.
Don't mess with the Bleiers. And, but it was more than stuff than that. And, again, fun night. And real quick, Republican candidate Donald Trump was there, and, the Secret Service was there. And I'll just let you know, the Secret Service is no joke.
Don't play around.
Yeah, I mean, when they came in,
and they should be.
Shut down. And it was, I remember when I went to get like a water in the cafeteria section, and there was a couple standing there, but you could tell, I walked a straight line. I didn't look up. I didn't look down. I got my water, and I just beeline back in my seat. Yeah.
You also, you had a great profile on Lynn Swann, and I texted you about this, and you said you talked to him about it. Brian, in the 70s when we had the World Football League team here, John Bassett's team, Sean McVay's granddad was the coach. They moved here from Toronto. They were the Toronto Northmen, moved to Memphis, became the Southmen. The logo didn't work, so they dubbed them the Grizzlies. So we've been the Grizzlies a long time, and almost had Lynn Swann. I can remember it well, Bo, in the media here. The wide receivers were going to be Paul Warfield and Lynn Swann, and he talked to you about it.
Yeah, we talked, and I asked him about the Raiders because that was just a big rivalry back in the day. And he said after the Hula Bowl, he said that for no particular reason, Al Davis walked past him. He says, you're nothing better than a 4th-round pick. And Lynn Swann said he really didn't think nothing of it in the moment. And then he kind of started to dwell on it, though, how rude it was. He goes, and I didn't hate the Raiders until after that moment. He goes, and, he grew up in, California, so he, but he said after that, it was definitely on, and he becomes a Steeler. And then I said, well, getting back to the draft, I go, how did you find about? Because it was a different time back then. And he said he took calls, and then, as you mentioned, Brett, as me and Brett were texting over the weekend, I said only you would know this stuff. I got to find it by Lynn Saturday or Sunday, and Brett always knows. But yeah, he said, he goes, there's another league called. He goes, but I wasn't going to go to that league. He mentioned that, and that he said a couple teams called, and he said they called and they said we're interested in you, and he goes, well, if you're interested in me, then pick me. So it was kind of fun, and I personally, those are the stories. I love hearing the little trinkets like that, and those are the ones that I take with me. Listen, we all saw the game to say Sunday night. We all saw the Steelers play to the Jets, but it's the little things that go on that you might hear or see, or something the player says that those are the things that I always kind of remember and take to heart, because it's just fun.
How sad was it not having Franco Harris there?
It's funny you said that, because when I looked around, you see Donnie Shell, John Stallworth, Mel Blount, Joe Green, and I thought, what, number 32 would have been here, should have been here, and just sad that he went right before the anniversary of the Immaculate Reception. That was kind of strange too, because they gave us pins and a beautiful ticket, like a glass ticket that was like a replica of that game that was in our press box seats last year. So they really went all out, and it would have been outstanding to see Franco there. And I met him a couple times. Again, I met him years and years ago at the McKinley Library here when I was a little kid at an autograph signing. I had to be maybe 10. And, you're 10 years old. This is Franco Harris in the Steelers' heyday. You thought you met, the greatest player in the world. And then I saw him years ago up in the Ritz in Cleveland because he had a cookie company or something like that. And bagels, biscuits, cookies, and having a drink. And he was sitting there and just got to talk to him. Just, it was just kind of shooting the breeze, finding out, what he's doing and how he was. But very accommodating guy and Hall of Famer. And Brett, you would know this, Brian, you're a little younger, but, back in the day, Jim Brown's rushing title, that was the holy grail of football sports. I mean, the running game, the dominance of running backs. And as Franco Harris chased down Jim Brown, I mean, that was kind of like somebody going after Babe Ruth or a DiMaggio number. I mean, it was holy grail football stuff. And now, it's, we know Emmett has it, but back in the day, at least for me and the way I surveyed it, I mean, it was a big, big moment, those guys chasing that Jim Brown number. And Franco was right there on the emphasis of, taking that crown.
That size and that speed was something, and those hands, how and they didn't throw that much, but on a screen or anything from Bradshaw to Franco Harris. And Bo, I remember Franco Harris having a brother that was a good defensive back at Penn State with him.
See, that was beyond me, and never even knew he had a brother that played at Penn State.
Yeah, he did. They were good, and Penn State famously came down to the South and played Tennessee in the first night game ever at Neyland Stadium between Penn State and Tennessee.
Wow. Who won that one?
I don't remember. I would have to. I think Tennessee. One or the other, Penn State or Tennessee. I'd have to look.
Oh wow. Well, I just assumed that was a given. That's kind of like you going. That's crazy.
I can't believe I don't remember.
That's why. I mean, the fact that you knew about it though is crazy.
Oh, I remember. It was big. Them coming down and playing, and the night aspect. I'm at Wikipedia now. I'm gonna find it out.
There you go.
Momentarily.
Well, while you look at that, Bo, I'm curious because Darian in the producer's room, big 49ers fan. You know my affiliations, Bo. What do you think happens this weekend between the 49ers and the Cowboys?
Well, if you're the Cowboys, if you don't get them this week, man, then you might as well just back it up and mail it home. I actually think it's worse for the Cowboys because the Niners are having their injuries and their issues, but this is typical Shanahan. A couple years ago, they were struggling, and I think they were 4-5. They finished 10-7. 2 years ago, they're 4-4. They finished 12-4 or 13-4, and then last year. They lose 3 straight, and then they ramble off, 8 or 9 wins. So, I listen, Brian, I love your Cowboys, but until I see them come around and prove it, and maybe this is what you need. Maybe this is the curse that I've had over them, and, I always say, hey, I think they can pull it out. But until I see them do it, I'm going to give it to Brock Purdy and Shanahan and crew that stay, even absent of probably not having McCaffrey till after the bye, no Brandon Ayuk, no Jawan Jennings. They'll still find a way to kind of get past the Cowboys.
Yeah, it feels like it.
28-21, Tennessee.
How about that?
Wow. That's crazy. First night game, that's pretty wild, man. That had to be something, especially back then.
Bryant laughs when I talk about when we didn't have lights at games.
It's hilarious.
That lights at games, phones at games, no replay, no yellow line.
Yeah.
There's lots of things.
All ancient history to me.
Everybody in the stands smoking cigars.
Oh, even better. It's great.
You know what? I talked to Peter King last year at the Acrisure, and he said when he went to Munich, he goes, the strangest thing, he goes, is they still smoke cigarettes and everything inside the stadium in Munich. So, yeah, I thought that he goes, I was just, I think he said he had a cold or something, and he was stuffy, and he goes, the last thing I needed is to be around all that smoke. But he goes, because you go in the Munich Stadium, he goes, and they're all smoking their cigarettes or whatever they're, so.
Sure.
Yeah, so. Yeah,
I promise you could go to those games in between the kind of the hot dogs, brats, grilling, the cigar smoke, and whiskey. That was a very distinctive smell at games.
I believe it.
Oh, man, I've been trying to diet. I would love to have a nice brat sandwich right now.
I'm sorry, Bo.
Oh, man. Oh, Brett, see what you're doing. Oh, Bo, as always, thanks so much for joining us. We'll do it again next week.
Stay safe, gentlemen. Thank you always.
Thanks, Bo.
Thank you, Bo. Thank you.
Bo Marchant joining us to talk the NFL. Always so much fun having Bo on. But before we get to a break, let me remind you about Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. It's a perfect time to go and check out one of those new 2025 vehicles at Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Jaguar Bluff City has been the premier Jaguar dealership for the greater Memphis area since 1984. Their talented team, they're ready to help you find your next perfect vehicle at unbeatable rates. Swing by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City today and check out the new 2025 models like the Range Rover Sport, the Range Rover Velar, or the 2025 Defender. Test drive the 2025 Range Rover Sport, where luxury meets performance. It's a perfect mix of style, performance, and versatility, with options ranging from 360 horsepower all the way up to 635. And it's also available as a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle with $7,500 federal tax credit when leased with approved credit. Also, take a look at the 2025 Range Rover Velar, powered by mild hybrid technology and enhanced with the latest well-being features and fully connected entertainment system. The Range Rover Velar is the ultimate luxury compact crossover. Purchase yours today and get special 4.4% for 72 months financing available with approved credit. Also, don't forget about the 2025 Defender, available in multiple models to fit your needs. The Defender is built for the modern explorer, and Jaguar Bluff City is offering special interest rates for 60 and 72 months on various models. Give them a call today at 877-259-6169. That's 877-259-6169, or go online and view the entire collection at JaguarBluffCity.com. Let's get to another break, and when we come back, it's prediction time, at least for the Eastern Conference opening night in the NBA. We'll take a look at the East next on Sports Time.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Wash your house, wash your office building? Impossible! Not call Wilson's Pro Wash. Your house, fence, driveway, warehouse, store, hotel, even cars and trucks can all be squeaky clean and beautiful after pressure washing by Wilson's Pro Wash. Wilson's specializes in cleaning all hard surfaces, concrete, stone, brick, and mortar, even wood and vinyl siding. Then Wilson's can seal their surfaces so they stay looking brand new. Call Wilson's Pro Wash, 901-524-6799, or online at wilsonsprowash.com.
Memphis, it's official. Crab King Seafood is where it's at. For the most flavored seafood and the biggest plates, run to a Crab King's near you. Visit the Bartlett Cordova location at 7140 Stage Road. The price, the portions, the service is why Crab King's is #1. So don't be disappointed in seafood. Make the right choice the first time and every time. Make it Crab Kings. Crab Kings have only locally grown catfish. Come and devour tasty snow crabs, king crab, shrimp, salmon, catfish, calamari, and so much more. Enjoy Memphis's best tasting pasta with your choice of toppings. Visit the Bartlett Cordova location at 7140 Stage Road. Crab Kings is open Wednesday through Sunday. Enjoy 50% off lunch portions and dollar fountain drinks. The #1 name in Cajun seafood is Crab King Seafood, a Memphis favorite. Crab King, 7140 Stage Road. Kings with a Z.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. When you use Angie for your home projects, you know all your jobs will be done well. Roof repair? Done well. Kitchen sink install? Done well. Deck upgrade? Done well. Electrical upgrade? Done well. Angie's been connecting homeowners with skilled pros for nearly 30 years, so we know the difference between done and done well. Hire high-quality, certified pros at Angie.com.
Welcome to Triumph Auto Sales, where you'll have a great car buying experience. Triumph Auto Sales is your #1 source of quality pre-owned vehicles ranging from lease returns to new car trades, all at huge savings. Plus, Triumph has a full array of financing options to meet your needs. Find your next car online at TriumphAutoSales.com or stop in today at 4875 Elmore Road. Triumph Auto Sales will help you get the vehicle you want at the price you need and the service you deserve. For a great car and a great experience from a local and family-owned business, visit Triumph Auto Sales.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Here's what we're seeing. Still some heavy traffic. Not as bad as it was 30 minutes ago, but nonetheless, it's still busy. 55 northbound in the construction zone between McLemore and South Parkway. Just give yourself a little extra time up through there just to be on the safe side. It's loading up pretty good now with that afternoon rush hour volume over here on 40 East from Sycamore View Road all the way out to Germantown Parkway. Weimer's Jewelry, located 7525 Highway 64, is your full-service, family-owned jewelry store here in Memphis. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Welcome back into Sports Time. So we got about 30 minutes left in today's show, and it's opening night in the NBA. So that means we have to make predictions, and we're going to start in the Eastern Conference today. Tomorrow with the Grizzlies starting, we'll get to the Western Conference, and also we'll crown our champions for the upcoming season. So, Brett, where do you want to start?
Everybody save your picks. Tomorrow we'll do the Grizzlies and the West at 5:30. That'll be after we visit with Rob Fisher just a few hours before the ball goes in the air for opening night for the Grizzlies on the road in Salt Lake City against Utah. A lot of NBA tomorrow, a lot of NBA today and tonight. I love these two games tonight. Kind of glad the baseball playoffs aren't on where we can watch all of one thing, a little bit of college football. But I'll start in the East. Is there anywhere else you can start in the East other than Boston?
No, not at all. I don't think so, at least.
I mean, I wonder in all the picking world, unless somebody just trying to be different, anybody doesn't have Boston as the 1 seed.
I definitely have Boston as the number 1 seed. So
Makes three of us.
Yeah, I can't argue with that.
I have Knicks 2, Cleveland 3.
Okay.
Then it gets fun. Indiana 4, Orlando 5, Philadelphia 6, Milwaukee 7.
Wow.
Miami 8, Chicago 9, Atlanta 10. Out of the playoff picture, just on the outside, Charlotte 11, Toronto 12, Detroit 13, Washington 14, Brooklyn 15.
Wow.
I think most people will have Toronto, Detroit, Washington, Brooklyn in a 12 through 15 mix.
Talk about shaking up the chicken coop. I mean, wow.
Yeah.
All right, let me finish with my East predictions.
Okay.
First round, Boston over Miami. Miami as the 8. Knicks over Milwaukee. Cleveland over Philadelphia, and the only upset, the 5, Orlando over the 4, Indiana. To the Eastern Conference semifinals, Boston over Orlando, Knicks over Cleveland. Eastern Conference Finals, the big matchup, just like tonight, not so fast. Boston and Cleveland.
Wow.
Cleveland upsets the Knicks in the Eastern Conference semis. Boston gets them in the Eastern Conference Finals.
I like it.
Come May, June, or July.
I love it. I love it. Okay, I'll go next. How about this? I also have Boston at number 1 in my list. But after that, we are very, very different, Brett. 2 for me is the Milwaukee Bucks, as long as Giannis is on that court. I know, that's a big, big difference for us. Number 3 for me, I have the New York Knicks. Number 4, the 76ers. 5, Orlando. 6, Miami. 7, Indiana. 8, Cleveland. 9, Atlanta. 10, Chicago. 11, Detroit basketball. 12, Toronto. 13, Washington. 14, Charlotte. And then number 15, Brooklyn. I think they've already started trying to print Cooper Flag jerseys in Brooklyn.
Yeah, I think the league wouldn't mind that either.
That's right.
Okay, so I'm big on Rick Carlisle in Indiana, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Too big?
I don't think too big, but I mean, it just kind of got that kind of. See, the West from top to bottom, I think, is just so strong. I think the East, 1 through 7 or 2 through 7 or 8, it feels like it can kind of be anywhere. It feels like Boston is ahead of the pack, but then after that, it feels like that pack between 2 and 7 or 8, it could really be any team.
I love Rick Carlisle. I liked him in college at Virginia. I liked him as role player, mostly with championship Celtic teams, and also this. And they only come through when he's in the East. He only comes through once a year. And I'm looking now at Sunday, December 1st, and I don't know where they are on Saturday. I don't know if they get here a day early or come in after a late game, but I can promise you this. He will be at the bar at the Rendezvous and eating every meal in town while he's here. He lives there when he's in town. He loves the Rendezvous almost as much as I do.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know that. That's fantastic. Yeah. That is great. All right, well, let me get to my bracket here for the Eastern Conference. I just went ahead and did a mini play-in format. So I have Atlanta, even though I have them as the 9, I have them getting in and being the 8 seed, and then I have Indiana sticking with the 7 seed. So my bracket looks like this. Boston beats Atlanta in the 1 versus 8. The 76ers beat Orlando as the 4 seed in the 4 versus 5. I have the Knicks beating Miami in the 3-6 with the Knicks being the 3 seed. And then I have the 2nd-seeded Bucks beating Indiana. So all chalk for me in the first round. Then I have Boston defeating the 76ers, but I have the Knicks beating the Bucks for what I think would be fantastic television for the NBA. Boston versus New York, Celtics versus Knicks, but I have Boston advancing to another finals appearance. Darren?
Wow. I mean, it's amazing how we are so different, y'all.
Wait till the West.
Oh, man.
All right.
West,
so
crazy.
I guess the 1 is kind of the Patrick Mahomes of the group, head and shoulders. But 2 through 7, like everything else, is just kind of jumbled up. I got Philly as number 2. I think they'll settle in, and I think that the Paul George deal will pay off. The Knicks, number 3. The Bucks at 4. Orlando at 5. Cleveland at 6. Miami 7. The Pacers at 8. Hawks 9, Toronto 10, Charlotte 11, Pistons 12, Nets 13, Wizards 14, and the Bulls, I believe, are getting Cooper Flag.
Wow.
I have the Bulls 9. You got them 15.
Yep, I got them. Yeah, and it's going to start here.
Bulls 10.
Yep,
I mean, good Lord.
starting next Monday. You'll see why when they come here to visit us. Yeah. We'll see why.
All right.
So I didn't do the play-in format. Just got a regular 1 through 8.
Sure.
My 1, Boston is beating the Pacers in the 8. My 4-5, the Bucks taking out Orlando. 3-6, the Knicks taking out Cleveland. And 2-7, Philly over Miami. Me and Bryant actually have the same 4 teams in the next round, but they're different, obviously, because Boston is playing the Bucks in my deal. I have Boston beating Milwaukee, which will be the 4 seed, because as long as Giannis is there, I think they will be competitive as well. This is where I kind of don't like it. I have the Knicks and the 76ers going against each other. And I kind of want to lean Knicks, but I'm leaning heavy toward the 76ers. And I'm not going chalk there. I'm going Philly over Boston.
Wow.
I got Philly finally breaking through.
You got to stay healthy.
He got to stay healthy, and he has to get in shape.
Well,
the big guy.
Yeah. And he's not going to play back-to-back, so...
Ever again.
Ever again. That's right. Not just this year. Ever.
And it won't be any back-to-backs at playoff time. We know that. Have y'all noticed the betting trends on Bronny James to be Rookie of the Year?
Well, that's the same thing. Wasn't there a bunch of right around the draft? Didn't a bunch of people start putting money on him to be the number one?
To go number
pick?
one.
Yeah.
Yes.
People just don't like money, Brett. I mean, I don't get it.
I guess that's why Vegas exists. There's that many suckers.
So. I guess so.
Bronny James not going to be Rookie of the Year.
No, I mean, I think even people that think Bronny James could do something don't even think he could be the Rookie of the Year.
He may have more games in the G League than Rookie of the Year votes.
Oh, for 100%, I think. I mean, I don't think there's a question there.
All right, Brett. So I may be one of those suckers in Las Vegas, so I got to shoot this one to you.
Okay.
I put down 2 Bronny James bets this morning.
You're kidding.
2 of them. The first one is pretty much a long shot. It's plus 5,000 odds. It's for Bronny to record a double-double in any game this year.
Oh, I hope you hit that.
10 points, 10 rebounds. I'm thinking latter in the year, things locked up. No Popeye out there, no AD out there. Him and Dalton connect, just going at it. Hey, wishful thinking. And the second one is not wishful thinking. This is just Bronny on a simple good night for him. 20 points in any game gives me plus 1170. So the 20-pointer is not so far-fetched.
Nobody in all the whole building, y'all all work so hard. Nobody works harder in this town than Darian Newsom.
Trying to get him.
And doing that with that hard-earned money.
How about that? It's a shame. It really is. But I'll be honest.
Hey, $5 to win your 300. Hey,
I mean,
we got $5.
Sure, why not? But
not as hopeful, gentlemen, on the double-double. But in all honesty, it's an NBA game. Can you not imagine the people sitting? Him playing 35 minutes? He can't get 20
playing
points.
the string out end of the year. I like the calculus.
Yeah, I like
just one 20-point game.
Sure.
Just
one.
one.
Hey, I like where the head's at.
You gonna sell half the bet?
Just not too confident. Not too confident. Connor came home today. He got home from class today, and he walks in. He goes, and me, him, and a couple of our buddies are meeting up tonight to watch the games. And he goes,
where are you watching? Can you tell?
Brad,
it's your spot?
I think you know where we're going to watch it. We're going to be at Huey's.
Only man in town that's got his own bar stool and doesn't drink a drop.
I love Huey's. But no, he walks in. He goes, "You think we could all just put together $50 each and just all go in on Bronny James unders for tonight?" I was like, "There's no sports book you'll find that is a legitimate sports book that has odds out for tonight's game for Bronny James over-unders. I mean, that's just not happening. But if there are, if you can find one, sure, why not?"
Play introduction out to the line will be something tonight.
It will
though.
be, yes, it will be.
It
will
will
be great. I am all for.
And thank goodness his health is better than
100%.
it was a year ago at this time.
I am all for him and his father playing together, LeBron and Bronny taking the court. That's great, and I'm glad that it sounds like it's going to be exactly what Keith Smith told us it would be. Get it out of the way early. Let them have their moment. It'll be great. It's going to be on SportsCenter, and it's going to be on all day. And then let's get the ball. He's going to go here in a week or two. He's going to go down to South Bay, wherever they have their team now for the Lakers G League team, and he's going to play in the G League all season. That's what's going to happen. But tonight it will be fun. Both of these games tonight should be a lot of fun. And here in a couple minutes we'll get the ceremony starting in Boston.
Brian, did you know about all this afternoon hockey?
Oh, Brett. Oh, I've been waiting to talk about. I can't show you the television in there. I have one of the games on my iPad right now. The other one's on the television right now. We've got a third game about to start here in a couple of minutes.
We do?
Frozen Frenzy. I mean, every 15 minutes.
It's what?
Frozen Frenzy. Every 15-minute interval, a new game starts tonight.
Great idea.
It's a fantastic idea. And on ESPN2 and ESPN Plus, I believe, they're going to have almost like Red Zone, where they're just going to be bouncing from game to game and look around and all that stuff. So I love it. It's great for hockey.
How are my Preds and Maple Leafs doing? My preseason Stanley Cup picks.
Brett, the Predators are off to the worst start in franchise history. They're 0-5. They have not won a game yet. They've not even been competitive in a game yet.
No PK Subban either. He's gone.
PK Subban is far gone. Toronto, they've been fine. They played last night actually. They're 4-2. They're doing well. They're winning games.
Leaves pride.
Predators on the other side. Woo.
My
bad
Preds.
start. It's really bad start. But hey, every team playing tonight, so a lot of hockey left. Maybe they can get started tonight with a win. But let's go ahead and get to our final break of the day. When we come back, we'll wrap up today's show with Crunch Time.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows. Stay up to date with station events and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
Traffic brought to you by 901 Eats to Go, 3135 Kirby Whitten Road in Bartlett. Pick up, DoorDash, Uber Eats, or online at 901eats.com. Eats with the Z. Good food fast.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises. Just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it. Because you're not just taking the bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets, vegan and gluten-free options available, convenience, and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com. So whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. locations at Ridgeway and Park Place Center, Poplar Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, Goodman Road in Highland Ranch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
It's here, Genesis Diamond's largest ever sale on luxury pre-owned Rolex watches. If you've ever dreamed of wearing a Rolex, you can't miss this special two-day event this Friday and Saturday. During this event, you can take advantage of special pricing and zero interest financing on a stunning selection of luxurious pre-owned Rolex timepieces. We've got Rolex, Colts, Submariners, Daytonas, Pepsis, the hottest model Rolex watches that you can't find anywhere else. All of our luxury pre-owned Rolexes are in pristine, light new condition, some just out of the box, and all priced to sell at this event. Listen to this: for the purchase of any luxury pre-owned Rolex at this event, Genesis will give you a pair of 2-carat lab-grown diamond stud earrings for free. That's a $3,000 value. And listen up, Rolex owners, our pre-owned Rolex buyers are on site offering top dollar for your Rolex. Come see the largest selection of Rolex watches in the state and take advantage of special financing. Plus, get a pair of 2-carat lab-grown diamond stud earrings free. It's this Friday and Saturday only. Genesis Diamonds on Poplar and Perkins Extended.
Great things come in sporty packages with its plunging roofline and aggressive contours. The first ever Genesis GV80 Coupe will move you in more ways than one. Discover Genesis athletic elegance with coupe-like styling and a sporty silhouette that looks fast even when sitting still. Turn any road into a runway with available 3.5 TE Supercharger V6 with 409 horsepower. Hear every beat, note, and breath with crystal clear bang and Olufsen premium audio system. Visit Genesis.com.
Jenkins Floors and More invite you to their retail warehouse where they pass wholesale savings on to you. Jenkins Floors in Little Rock, Cleveland, Mississippi, and now open in Horn Lake at 2356 West Goodman Road. Specializing in flooring and carpeting, tile, plantation shutters, and blinds, Jenkins makes your life easy with a 2-week turnaround. Contractors, builders, or family projects, call 662-469-9350 for a free estimate. Owners Timmy and Rebecca Jenkins say hello to Sports 56 fans and look forward to your business.
This is pretty cool, and we're just getting started, so.
Spanning the globe.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskell.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
Well, Brett, today I had two stories that are both really what I could have done without. So we're just going to move one to what I learned, and then the other is going to be what I could have done without. So what I learned today is the NIT put out more information earlier today on the selection process for their postseason tournament, in that it stated that the ACC and the SEC will get 2 automatic bids to the NIT for the top teams that do not make the NCAA tournament. They also said that after that, it will go down. It will be the top 12 conferences, the best team not selected in the NCAA tournament with the best record of the top 12 conferences will receive an auto bid as well to the NIT. The only problem with this is we saw so many teams, especially last year, opt out of their NIT invitation, that
including Ole Miss and Memphis.
That's right. There's nothing that's going to change. You give those invites out, and I don't think any team in the ACC or the SEC that doesn't receive an NCAA tournament invite, there's very few teams that are going to accept an NIT invite. We know that Fox is set to debut their own 16-team rival postseason basketball tournament, and that one's going to be in partnership with the Big Ten, Big 12, and Big East. So that's exactly why they went out and said ACC and SEC get the automatic bids, because now they're going up against another postseason conference that has already been announced is going to be in partnership with those 3 other big-time basketball conferences. So a lot of news from the NIT today, but I don't know how much it will really change the current perception of what this NIT tournament is.
Did you kind of just go NIT bracketology?
You know, Brett, I don't know if I would call it NIT bracketology. I don't think we're quite there yet, but hey, maybe
Who's our source for Barking?
The Barking Crow. That's correct.
Barking Crow. Barking Crow at NIT bracketology.
NIT stew.
Speaking of bracketology,
we had one earlier today. I didn't get a chance to look at it.
We had Joe Brown. It's always there. We can talk about it tomorrow. What I learned today, with a win Saturday over Charlotte, Ryan Silverfield will have 38 wins as head coach of the Tigers. That will tie him with Mike Norvell for third most wins in Tiger football history. Coach Murphy won with 81. Our guest tomorrow at 3:30, Coach Tommy West, second with 49. Ryan Silverfield, Mike Norvell will be tied for third after Saturday. Also, one more touchdown on Saturday, and Seth Hennigan will be tied with Brady White with 90 career touchdown passes. That will be number one. With 2, he'll pass him and be the all-time leader.
What I could have done without today, Brett, is this headline that I saw on The Athletic, because I'm sorry that I missed Jerry Jones' weekly appearance on 105.3 The Fan in Dallas, but this is the headline I saw. Jerry Jones, Cowboys didn't pursue Derrick Henry due to fit. Oh, that's what held him back from going and pursuing Derrick Henry. The fit of the team. Ridiculous. But this paragraph to start this story I thought was very interesting. Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones appeared on 105.3 The Fan on Tuesday for the first time since he expressed frustration last week with the team's flagship radio station over questions regarding Dallas's lack of offseason moves. He said he was, quote, surprised the discussion received so much public attention and addressed other topics, including the team and league, including the Cowboys not wanting to pursue signing star running back Derrick Henry in the offseason because of fit. Are we serious? That is the craziest thing I have heard. And of course,
he doesn't realize his comments move markets.
That was the best thing of it, is that Jerry Jones is just oblivious that when I go off on a radio station because my team's bad, that's not going to get a lot of attention. Please.
I could have done without first the Aiden Hutchinson injury 2 weeks ago. Now Jameson Williams, 2-game suspension. My Detroit Lions are the best team in the NFC.
Oh, man.
They should have gone to the Super Bowl last year. Don't mess this up, Detroit, and I hope I didn't jinx you.
Well, I hope you did not jinx them either. Your Lions, that is. Where are you being tonight?
Being me to Timberwolves at Lakers. No need to be in Boston for banner number 18 being unveiled. Being me to Crypto, where I can look up and gaze at that in-season tournament banner and think of all the pride of the purple and gold.
Yes, that is right. Yes.
That's what really matters.
That's right. Yes, the in-season banner. It really speaks to you, I tell you what.
What a night.
Oh, man, what a night. Being me tonight, honestly, being me to a couple of places, Brett, being me in front of my television for Frozen Frenzy tonight. We're bouncing around from game to game. Right now, what time is it? 5:54. We have 3 games going on right now. Another one.
Can y'all get a TV on hockey at Huey's?
Oh, absolutely. Hey, excuse me, ESPN. Why isn't this channel on ESPN? Absolutely. I can get in the Kraken play at 7:30 on ESPN, or 7:30 on ESPN for those interested. But also beam me tonight to this FIU football game. It is Miami Vice night at FIU. Pitbull Stadium's going to be rocking tonight. He's going to be in attendance. They're wearing Miami Vice uniforms. The field is painted Miami Vice colors. And I saw a video. Pitbull has bought, rented yachts to place in the end zones tonight for Miami Vice night. So Pitbull going all out, Mr. 305.
Very nice. I will watch 5-2 Sam Houston at 2-5 FIU. Knicks and Celtics on the parquet in Boston. T-Wolves at Lakers. How much? What's the over and under for points tonight for Dalton Connect in his debut?
It's a good question, Brett. I think we have a little time. Let me go look that up, because let's get a
little something on the over out there.
Why not? Maybe a little Dalton Connect action. Where's my NBA on here?
It's got to be decent odds.
Let's see. Points, player points. Over under. Where in the world is the over under? I see Austin Reeves. I don't see Dalton Connect. Let's see.
What's Austin Reeves?
Well, now I passed it, Brett. Here we go. Let's see. Austin Reeves, 12.5. Dalton Connect, 6.5.
Points?
Points.
Brian, They're giving away money
I
tonight.
think
It's that easy.
I think we take Dog
that
Connect
easy.
over tonight. Yeah, I think too many eyes on Bronny. They're focusing on the wrong rookie, Brett.
They sure are.
That's right. It should be a fun night.
Gaming is
everything-
easy.
Oh, it's easy. Yeah, we're saying that now. Just wait. We're gonna come back
With nothing
He's gonna
on
have-
it.
He's gonna have 6 points exactly, and we're gonna go, oh man, we were wrong. But no, it should be a fun night. The NBA tonight, the college football tonight. If you're into hockey, a lot of that as well. Plenty to watch. But that'll do it for us. Have a good night. We'll talk to you again tomorrow afternoon.
Guns, guns, and more guns. Over 700 firearms in stock. Home defense guns, old guns, new guns, used guns, big guns, little guns. Every gun you can think of, Classic Arms has them. All brands like Glock, Sig, Colt, Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Browning, Beretta, Benelli, Remington, Winchester, and more. Guaranteed lowest prices in town. Only gun importer in the Mid-South. Free gun and